Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Iconic Echo Park Speedway, known as Atlanta Motor Speedway in the hearts of true-blooded NASCAR fans. It's the full-length Cup Challenge. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for tonight's coverage of the Where Are You, Matt Long 400. And you're going to see the Peach 400 be on your screen. We had a big Peach 400 thing, but ended up changing the name. So Where Are You, Matt Long 400? That was a little bit of a last-second change. It doesn't matter. We're racing here tonight. 32 cars in the next gen. Going to be racing here in Atlanta. I'm Kirk Mills alongside tonight. Got Sky Schrick, and then we got Morgan Cook, our producer this afternoon. Now, Sky, got to ask you right off the gate. Did I mispronounce your last name? Are we okay?
Nope, we got it right.
Oh, hell yeah. God bless America. Now we got Echo Park up ahead. What are your hopes and dreams going into this one? Tell the world what you know about it.
Well, this is a 1.5 mile track, 24 degrees of banking. Drives like a super speedway with the recent reconfiguration of this racetrack, and that's produced some great racing in real life. We expect it to produce some great racing here on the sim as well. It drives very similarly to a track like Daytona or Talladega, and the race strategy is going to be very similar to one of those tracks as well. If you want to win this race, you have to be there at the end, and we're going to see a lot of drivers maybe just try to ride it out and try to make sure that they're there for the final 20 laps so they can try to grab a win tonight.
You can see on the screen, you got 2 of the big Ryko names screaming at the top of the driver standings, Conklin and Basin 1 and 2. And look at the gap. Almost double the points. 300 points almost separate first and second. He's almost guaranteed to get this as long as he shows up. Conklin's dominating the season. His teammates right there as well. But there's a lot of storylines throughout. The big one, look at that cut line. Patrick Gitter, Tanner Marty, right at 0. They are tied right now, as it looks like we are about to get through the warm-up session. The drivers are about to get up on the grid, and when we do, we'll take a look at our top qualifying spots. But last week, Conklin, he was able to get his 8th win on the season at Chicagoland, dominated the race, and the guy's just been taking over. It's crazy. Tonight, though, in-season tournament, we got ourselves a whole bunch of matchups on your screen. Some fill-in drivers, some aren't. But I could say this is going to be a very important thing to watch. The drivers are going to be paying more attention to that than we are really up here in the booth. But at the end of the day, we'll have this updated at the beginning of every race. Here we go. We got about another 5 or 6 seconds before we could actually see our starting lineup for tonight's event. It's going to be quite something, Sky. And the biggest story, I think, right now is who's on the pole. Can you believe what I'm about to say? Casey Graves on the pole in the 01 car with the fastest lap. Hutchinson. Let me try it again. In practice, Casey Graves was number 1 on the board by 0.2, but take a look at your pole position. Ralph Hutchinson on the pole today. Let me make sure I correct myself. Sorry, my bad. Second place, Jonathan Delaney. Both cars are fast. They're pretty good here. They're going to do fine. Got Lucas Hoitzman starting P3 in a very similar looking car to Blake Giglio in the 8 machine. Very going to be difficult to pick them out. You got Alan Duggar in the 10 car alongside Steven Williams with his best qualifying effort, I think, of the year, starting P6. Dylan Basin starting in 7th with Nolan Hodgson in 8th. 9th place tonight will be Bobby Anderson alongside Corey Moore, your top 10.
And in 11th tonight, it'll be Junsa Lim in the 67 next to Tyler Hunter in the 48. Paul Gallimore goes from 13th in the 11 on the inside of Evan Mesnard in the 73. It's William Owens from 15th in the 30 next to Casey Graves in the 01. He'll start 16th. Devin Medeiros in the 20 goes from P17 next to Matthew David Wood in the 16. And rounding out your top 20 tonight will be Jose Medina and Sean O'Brien.
Starting in 21st, Vroman's got a long way to go to get to the front, but he will do it. You got Jedi Taylor starting in that 22nd position. Hunter Truel in the 71, right alongside Michael Tucker in the 36. Starting 25th this afternoon will be Paul Hill in the 26, alongside Tanner Marty in the 29. Starting in 27th will be Thomas Kulmacheski in the 88, alongside Neil Pearson in the 62. Starting in 29th will be Sean Conklin, starting from the way back. Remember, he's been dominant all season, has to go from the back to the front, and you got Brian Wortman, the end of your top 30, with the following two being the last two on the grid, I understand. Adam Benefiel and Andrew Dyson, again, two very fast cars, starting in the back for tonight's race. Okay, folks, 60 laps, stage number 1, and you got 160 for stage number 2, only 8 tire sets, 260 laps, but the big kicker, you get 10% extra horsepower on top of what they actually brought. So it's not just, it's not just what is default, what you've seen in the officials all week long. They added an extra 10% horsepower, so that way the cars can simulate an older track surface, causing more tire wear early on, and we're going to see that. They tested that early in the week. I was one of the guys that hopped in the cars and gave it a try, and it really does do its justice. Now, with the big pack like this, you can already see it's a clean track. They're cleaning it right now. All that smoke getting kicked up. It's pretty crazy, Sky. Who's your pick to possibly come home with a win this afternoon, Sky?
Well, the thing about Atlanta is this is one of those tracks that tends to lend itself to the underdog. You mentioned Sean Conklin, winner of a lot of races this season, winner last week at Chicagoland, but he's not the favorite to get it done this week, starting back in 29th with a long way to go. And, I mean, this is the type of close pack racing that breeds underdogs. I think you've got a couple good contenders up here at the front. Anyone really starting in the top 10 can bring it home. So throwing a name at a dartboard, let's go Lucas Hoitzma.
Lucas Hoitzma out of left field. All right, Lucas Hoitzma, he was fast. He won yesterday in a Friday Night Lights series. Here, tonight, it was kind of perfect dart throw. It was perfect. Great job there. But now here we go. I believe, if my calculations are correct, we are going green this time by. All right, here we go. Through turns 3 and 4, I'm asking y'all to reach down, pull them belts tight one more time. From Echo Park Speedway on the pole, you got Hutchinson, Ralph Hutchinson, alongside Jonathan Delaney. Side by side, that pace car is going to go ahead and dive down into the pit lane. Here we go again from Atlanta through that restart zone. Biggity, biggity, biggity. Let's go racing, boys. Into turn number 3 for the first time today. You could see the outside line did not get that good of a start, but they're hanging tough, trying to stay with Hutchinson, but it looks like out of turn number 4 for the first time, Hutchinson will come across the line to lead lap number 1.
Inside, prevailing early with Hutchinson getting up to P1 and Lucas Hoitzma there in P2 as that inside lane has about a half a car advantage there from Hoitzma up to Jonathan Delaney, who's the leader of that outside group here at the moment. And he really does not seem to have the straightaway speed you might expect here from being on the outside through these corners. Even in that part of the track. He's dropping back. What could help him is that Alan Duggar in the 10 is hanging a little bit off this group up here, and that might allow the 6 to slot in. It will let him get down to the inside there, and he'll give a push to the back of Lucas Hoytsma in the 97. And we'll go single file here for the first 4 cars on the inside lane. Blake Giglio now the first car on the top, but he's got a long ways to go to find your leader. Dylan Basin up to 5th.
Yep, already moving forward. All those cars we mentioned at the beginning, there's a few cars that are starting in the back that will do whatever it takes to get to the front as quickly as possible. And I can tell you right now, one car that did not go to the front, did not stay up front rather, was our 6th place starter, Stephen Williams. He dropped back all the way to P30 in just 4 laps. He dropped so many spots intentionally, got up and out of the way and let everybody go. So I can tell you, I'm looking at this track right now and I'm seeing sparks flying everywhere in the main pack. You got cars that are bottoming out, their tire pressures aren't quite up yet, and it shows. Knowing with 110 horsepower, these cars aren't going to handle perfectly if you just run the stock setup that were released by the setup shops. You got to make some adjustments to make it work.
Yeah, and it's not a bad idea to drop out of line and go to the back here if you think there are going to be a lot of cautions earlier in this race. That's definitely a strategy you can pull just to try and stay outside of any wrecks that can occur and to try and ensure that you're at least in the race when we come down to the end of stage 3 instead of, wrecked out of it on lap 30 here if you do think we're going to get an early caution. Right now, the inside line is very clearly the faster one. Bobby Anderson sits 5th, and now Tyler Hunter is going to pull ahead in 6th, and that'll be the last car there. But he's already got a hole in the nose there on Tyler Hunter, so pushing and shoving going on early in this race as Dylan Basin, leader of the outside lane, the 06, continues to fall backwards.
Now, I got to tell you, I don't like seeing that front end that way. It's going to be hard to lead a pack when you're that 48 car. If he ever tries to get to the front, he might not have the same pull as someone else who has a clean nose. Keep that in mind as they're 3 wide here. Corey Moore in the 42 on the very top side of the racetrack, falling back, not at all maintaining speedboat. You're right. Bottom lane prevails early. Now remember, last night in the Friday Night Lights series, we saw the cars migrate to the middle lane by lap 13 to lap 17 in that range. We are right now on lap number 7.5 to be honest. And down the back, you can see that bottom line is prevailing. Now, the longer this goes, the more we'll be able to see if that continues. But that outside line being led right now by Basin is probably in the best position he could possibly be. He has to be ready for that line to start kicking in, which it will, unless, of course, this racing style won't work. But right here, you can see Giglio goes up to the top, and that's going to make that outside line get even more momentum. So it's just going to be closer and closer every lap until they finally catch the front.
By the way, we are not far off of having a lap car here. Jose Medina started in the pits tonight, and he is going across the start-finish line now while your leaders are exiting turn 4. He's not far up the road, and at the difference in lap times, I think these leaders are going to catch him within about 4 or 5 laps here, and with the 2, sometimes 3 wide racing that we've seen throughout this upper pack here early on in this race, the lapping of Jose Medina could pose a pretty big problem to some of your cars up front and could maybe encourage some of these cars a little bit further back to try to make it single file and drop it down to the inside so that they don't have to deal with that 31 car potentially slowing them up.
Absolutely right, Sky. Yeah, heck yeah, that's exactly right. When you're dealing with a lap car and you're side by side, it makes things so much stressful. It's a lot better to be single file when you're passing a lap car, but he's running his own line right now. I'm sure when those pack gets there, he might move up. If not, then the rest of the cars are going to have to snake around him. But what I could say is Hutchinson's been dominant since the start of this race, coming to get to lap 11 when they cross the stripe. Hutchinson absolutely doing what he needs to do. Last week we saw him have so much speed. As we got one car on the wall in the exit of turn number 4, it looks like that's Giglio. He is dropping off the pace, big time damage on the right side. Something must have happened to the 8 car, Alpha turn number 4.
And he was running right up towards that top 10 area. Just got in the wall there.
Oh, they're wrecking live. I'm sorry to interrupt you. One car going around. It is the 36 of Tucker. They stayed green, so we'll see it on the replay here. Go ahead.
This is going to be Blake Giglio getting into an accident here first. So he's going to come out of turn 4 here. He's going up the track. Maybe a little contact from behind. Not 100% sure from that angle, but he's going to scrape the wall. And then we're going to get an accident here a little further back with Michael Tucker. We'll see what happened to that 36 car as he ended up going around. Down into the corner here, running on this high line through 1 and 2. And oh, he's going to loop it all on his own there. Just got loose. I'm shocked that was not a bigger incident. Good job by him to lock that up and stay out of the way of the other cars.
Jose Medina now being passed by the leaders live on your screen here in a moment. You're going to see him. That's the only incidents that we had, I believe. And now Jose able to avoid all the cars getting past there. But yeah, that broke up our main pack quite a bit. Now we have kind of a long string of cars leading back to a 4-car, 6-car, 7-car pack right around there, a little bit further back. But up front, it is still single file around the bottom of the racetrack. But look at what they're doing. They're not staying right on that red line. They hit the bottom, then they arc up a little bit, and then they come back down. It's kind of like the old Atlanta line, if you think about it. We heard that quote yesterday from Lucas Hoitzma, who said he had to run this track a little bit like he did when he drove the old Atlanta. A little different in turns 3 and 4. So we'll see what happens again. But now the top 4 are switching lanes depending on where they are on the racetrack.
And right now, that gap, that splitting in the pack occurred right outside the top 20. William Owens in the 30 is the last car in your lead pack. And then it is back to Sean O'Brien, Devin Medeiros, who are on an island back here. They're dropping back to the pack in 23rd, led by Jason Taylor. And that pack is completely separated from your leaders by a good few seconds here. So they might just want to ride this one out to the end of the stage and hope they can move their way up through the field a little later on in this race, because right now they're pretty separated. Oh, Delaney took a bit of contact to the rear bumper there as Dylan Basin made a late move down to the inside. Delaney able to keep it straight there, but a scary moment as though we got a car loose up here as well. Lucas Hoitzma got that car way bent out of shape. And I think with the increased horsepower and the increased tire wear that you're going to see today, as we get deeper into these runs, you're going to see a lot of cars have to pedal and a lot of cars start to get loose. And if that happens in, a 3-wide situation like we've got here with Conklin, Froman, and Duggar, 5th through 7th, it could cause a big accident. So you've got to be really careful out here. We've already seen a couple cars get real squirrely up at the front of the field. Dylan Basin doing it right there. That car wiggling as Delaney has to back out as he tries to jump to the outside.
Look at Froman's move. He jumped down to try to get to the bottom, ended up giving that 97 a little shot in the back bumper. But you're right. I mean, what we saw yesterday is cars started lifting tremendously going into the corners because they could not keep the cars to stick. It just jumps loose on them. Oh, where did the 97 go? He's back. Had a little bit of moment where he went on vacation. Side by side for the lead now, though, between the 60 car, the 06 car and the 19. Big pushes from the outside line, and he is cleared to the bottom. New leader, Dylan Basin, takes over the lead.
And we are seeing cars lift down into turn 3 and 4. Last time, Delaney lifted from 190 down to about 182 to get that car through the corner. Driving it almost like it's one of those 1987 legends at Daytona or Talladega here on iRacing. Feels like maybe the closest comparison to how this car is driving right here, as Delaney is going to give that shot to the back of Dylan Basin up there 1 and 2. And after the inside line was very dominant for much of the first 10 or 15 laps of this race, the outside might be starting to come into its own with Dylan Basin, Jonathan Delaney, and maybe Sean Conklin, who started this race right at the back of the field and is now up in 3rd, starting to come through up on that high side. Conklin, 29th to 3rd. He's joined up there by Kolmacheski, 27th to, at the moment, 4th. And Nicholas Vroman, who's gone from 24th or 21st to 6th.
Yeah, I tell you right now, I remember at the beginning of the race, I said after about 15 to 17 laps, the outside line would become the dominant lane, and it could change, of course. But right now, it looks like that has actually happened. The bottom line is falling off, and now the outside line seems to be prevailing, but not for Conklin. Conklin goes to the bottom, trying to keep his momentum up, but he has no help. Kolmacheski, the 88, having one of the better days of his career so far, running P3 right now. He started P27. Sean Conklin started 29th. They've made their way all the way from the back to almost battling for the lead in just 20 laps.
And if you remember that points graphic we showed right at the start of the broadcast, Kolmacheski was sitting down in 20th. He was just outside the playoff picture, about 20 points out. And if he can get a top 3, if he can get a win today, that would be huge for him to try and get him into the chase this season. He really needs a good finish here tonight. Right now, driving from the very back of the field up to 3rd, he's potentially in good position for it as Jonathan Delaney takes this lead back. He's being pushed by Kolmacheski, but we are all packed up here with Conklin leading that inside lane.
Now, the question I got for you here, Scott, do you think that 3rd lane will ever come into contention at all?
Give it until about lap 250, and I think we'll start seeing it.
Okay, so 250, you think they're saving it for the best for last is what you're saying?
I think they're saving it for the very end of the race, and once we get right down to the end of this thing, that's when you're going to see cars really put the pedal to the floor and use every inch of this track to try and get position.
Brian
We got a
Workman
lap car
off
coming up
pit
here on the
road.
apron, yeah.
Yeah, Brian Workman going off on the apron of the racetrack. He's coming back out from the pits. He was not at all up to pace, and unfortunately for him, he is not having a good day. 21 laps down. But continuing on up front, you're going to see the leaders run what I call a hybrid line. They go down to the bottom on entry, slide up to the middle, around the middle of the corner, and back up to the top on exit, and block the line. Make sure they leave that line. They're going to be trying to manipulate their car to be in a position to maintain their position. That's it. So now we got the top two nose to tail. That's Delaney and Conklin. One of them is a current Coke Series driver. The other, a previous Coke Series driver. Jonathan Delaney used to race in the Coke Series. But now those two are leading this thing 1-2. And Kulmacheski sitting P3, would love to be the underdog to take this thing away. And like you said, points is a big deal for him. He can get a lot in stage points if he continues to stay where he is today.
We saw about a lap ago Nolan Hodgson in the 12 scraped it off the wall there. I don't think he has too much damage on that 12 car as a result, but might be something to keep an eye on in case that car continues to get loose on him and he maybe slides back into the wall once again there behind the wheel of that one. As we are single file here up through the first 5-6 cars in the field. It's Adam Benefiel now up on that outside lane up to 6th. That's another car who started back in 31st and has driven through the field. It's 5 of your top 6 started outside the top 15 here tonight. Only Jonathan Delaney, who started in P2, has held on to it. He's still running P2.
Yeah, I could say Ralph Hutchinson, who was on the pole, ended up leading a lot of the early laps. He's now almost outside of the top 10. He's stuck on the bottom of the racetrack. The outside line came in. That bottom line might look alluring. It might feel great to be in it, but not for long. That outside line prevails. And I could say that 12 car, when he bounced off the wall a few laps ago, I mean, these cars are tanks. They could take a lot. Wall slappers, not going to be a big deal unless it's like really bad. You can normally tell. It's a visual eye test. You can normally see it. I can't describe it, but you know it when you see it. And right now, you're right.
Big
crash. Hoytsma's around. So is Nolan Hodgson around. The 71 in the grass. The 30 car is spinning. Big crash to bring out our first yellow of the day here on lap 29.
Lucas Hoytsma maybe got the worst of that, but it started with the 83 car of Adam Benefiel. Got door slapped into the wall after Dylan Basin in the 06 just got loose underneath him, slid up the racetrack, and then it all spiraled back there. Hoytsma got ran over trying to check it up. Hutchinson got tapped as well and hit Basin, and he got spun out too. Kind of just a domino effect there of Basin initially getting loose and sliding up the racetrack. You'll see it right here as he dives into the corner.
Yeah, he overcooked the entry, and he's just chasing it. 83 goes up in a wall. Luckily, from what I'm seeing from high above, I'm not seeing too much hits anywhere. Like, very light contact for a lot of these cars. I don't see anybody hitting the wall too hard. I think the worst of the bunch was maybe Benefiel hitting the outside wall pretty hard. But again, I don't think that what we just saw was race ending for any of the drivers out there today.
No, Hunter Truhl and Nolan Hodgson got a little bit of there too. There was a T-boning involved with those two cars, but I don't think either of those cars are really going to be out of the race as the result of that one.
No, it was clean. No damage on most of these cars. Little bit of damage here and there. Not going to be a big deal. Luckily, it's amazing that there aren't that many DNFs after that wreck. That was kind of wild. But again, we're here on lap 29. Sean Conklin, your leader, as they check up to catch up to the back of the pace car. Now, here's an interesting question. With 8 tire sets right now that they could use, you think they should use one right now, halfway through stage 1, or should they hold on to it and wait until the end of the stage?
I think go ahead. If you got 8 tire sets to use here, we're about an eighth of the way through this race. Send it.
Well, I'm looking here live on the screen. This is going to be the commitment cone. Right now, I'm seeing that pace car, that pit road entry is actually closed this time, it looks like. No, people are going, yeah. So there's red lights flashing, but they're going. So Conklin stays out. Delaney, Kulmacheski, you see Duggar, they are all... Duggar and Conklin stays out, but everybody else comes down pit road.
And that's going to be really bad for Conklin and Duggar, because I think they're going to be kind of stranded out here on tires that are slower than what they were at the start of this race, and tires that are going to be very loose here on this restart. If I were them, I would be very careful to avoid causing an accident here with these older tires, as we have seen they really start to get loose at a certain point. They're also going to have a heat cycle on them now.
Okay, well, we're going to find out how well it works out for the 17 and the 10. Remember, we saw the fall off here. Let's take a look real quick at the fall off. The fastest lap we saw out of Dylan Basin was a 28.8. That last lap he ran before that caution was a 29.6. Almost 0.8 of a second difference between his fastest lap and his most recent lap. And looking at its consistency, it's not very consistent. He's gotten as high as a 29.9 a few times. So I think that having this pit stop is very beneficial for now if you want stage points, but Conklin and Duggar, they're in a tough spot.
We're going to have to see how this works out for them here. They're going to have to, I mean, be careful is one thing, but they're going to have some cars behind him who I think are going to be going all out here to try to get their way back up to the front. And yeah, those cars are going to be really aggressive to try to get around him, I would imagine.
We'll be coming to get one lap to green this particular time by. And again, Conklin, your leader, Alan Duggar, choosing to stay out, both cars, deciding to pull some strategy move. Man, I really don't like this move, but hey, I'm not a Coke driver. We'll see how it goes for him. I mean, I'm sure he knows something we don't know.
Still got a long way to go in this race, too. So if you are maybe Conklin, maybe Duggar, this could be a play to save tires for later in the race. If, you know, maybe we get a lot of cautions here, you could use that extra tire set later, maybe even, you know, last few laps of this race when everybody else is out of tires, and it could work out for you then.
Well, we saw our first caution of the day happen here right smack dab in the middle of stage number 1. When we look back to our other experiment, the Friday Night Lights series yesterday, 110% horsepower change for these guys. What that meant was that they were driving more realistic than I've ever seen in the O'Reilly series ever when what we saw yesterday. And the big news that we saw then that might affect us here is they didn't have that many cautions. They kept it clean and green the entirety of the first stage, and they didn't really have a wreck outside of one in the middle of stage 2. And it was just hard racing the entire time. Now, this is a lot more at stake. There's a lot of things that people here are willing to do to try and win that they might not try to do in the lower tier series, but who knows? I think that the folks that are out here today, they have something to prove, and they want to get to the front as quick as they can. We're going to find out what Conklin and Duggar are able to do on super old tires. 30-lap old tires for the front row, but the heat cycle will help them. We saw that earlier yesterday. If you stayed out on older tires, that heat stayed in them for a couple laps, and you were able to go laps that like they were brand new. Here we go. Great jump on the restart. 17 jumps out to the early lead.
We'll see how far out he's able to get there, because the rest of the pack is able to get a draft his way back up to that 17 car very quickly here. Delaney already getting a pretty good push, courtesy of Nicholas Roman there in the 95. Try to get that car back up to the bumper. It'll be interesting to see now on fresh tires if the inside lane is the faster lane once again, as it was in the first 15 laps of the race, or if the outside is able to get back to the point. Delaney door to door here with Sean Conklin, who's running him really tight through that corner, trying to take away the run from that 6 car. He's getting good pushes from Alan Duggar behind, and right now, despite the fact that they're on older tires, those two are holding pretty steady on the top, although Duggar gets loose, jumps out of line there. The tighter inside line is going to get around him. It'll be Delaney to lead, Broman to second, and here comes Komacheski trying to take third.
Again, the 88 in a great position again for Conklin, and I think Duggar's time up front are limited. Those tires are about to get up to temp, and when they are, they will lose more and more time. That outside line is also not going to help them out much. The tires, I think if you're a driver like Hutchinson or Hill, you got to get out of that outside line. You're going to get sent straight to the back. If you don't, there you go. Hutchinson found a hole, got down.
single file here through the top 5 cars, but if you are Conklin, if you are Duggar, you've got to do your best to fight up here on the outside. It can be very easy for you to slide to the backslide, way out of any chance of getting stage points here, especially if this thing goes green down to the end of the stage. Matthew David Wood doing a good job to kind of trail that pack right now there in 5th, keep these cars back, and Paul Gallimore will try to get with him as Conklin is really running a lower line here, trying to pin these cars down, trying to take the air off them, but right now, not working at all, and the older tires are really making themselves evident on that 17 car, as we are back to the kind of track state that we saw at the first 15 laps of the race, where new tires, the inside, is the place that you want to be.
Yeah, I could say right now, sorry to those of you who are Norman Hodgson fans, but unfortunately he spun going on to pit road, and he's coming off pit road right now, multiple laps down. He is not having a good day to start things off this afternoon. He's going to have to get a lot of help to get back in the lead lap and get back involved in this one. Further up the road, though, you can see 17 found a hole to get to the bottom, and the 10 car still on the top, but they are just wiping out both lanes. Not at all up to speed. Outside line specifically just not having much help. Everybody in the top 10 is on the bottom of the racetrack, all the way from the lead back to Evan Mesnard running P10.
Conklin managed to get down at least, but then Neil Pearson, who's got the 4 fresh tires, is going to force him straight back up the racetrack here. So he really can't keep himself down at the bottom, and now he's in the wall up there in that 17 car, and that car is all the way bent out of shape here. He's going to lose a position to William Owens. He's going to lose one to Paul Hill, and it's just not working out as we got a couple cars trying the outside lane a little further up the road. Hoytsma, Hutchison, David Wood, and Gallimore are moving it up the racetrack there at the moment, and that's really strung out this inside lane. And I think Gallimore and David Wood are just going to pull right back into the bottom here as Conklin about to drop all the way out of the top 15. He's in the wall again here in 3 and 4.
I'm starting to get worried about that 17. This is a great learning experience for everybody in the top 10. It will work for about 3 laps, and then it's over. It's just not going to work for you. You got to be able to learn from this particular experience and say, okay, if we get a caution, I might as well come down and get some tires. The only good for the 17 and the 10 is that even though they're losing all these positions, they won't get stage points, but 17 doesn't necessarily need stage points. He's winning by 300 points. The guy's insane right now. So it's not going to be that big of a deal for him. And Duggar, on the other hand, I think these guys are trying to save that extra set, like you said, trying to save it for the end of the race, not right now. That's the important part. As you can see that outside line is trying to get redeveloped. Outside, Paul Gallimore in the 11. Look at him go.
He's trying to take the shot up there, as I think those cars really just need to hang on to this one. 20 laps left to go to the end of the stage. Just make it to the end of the stage here, and you should be fine, as Gallimore is trying to make that high line work. He's getting some pretty good pushes from Ralph Hutchison in the 19 car, your pole sitter here tonight, who fell back to the back half of the top 10 and is now trying to get his way back up. Oh, Gallimore loose, manages to save it as he drops it back down to the inside. And now Hutchison will be your leader up there on the top. That was a close moment there for that 11 car. He's going to back it out pretty heavily down into turn 3 and 4 this time around. And we'll see if Hutchison opts to drop into line or if he wants to keep trying this high side.
I tell you what, Sky, we're having a good time up here, aren't we?
I'm having a great time. This is some amazing racing.
It's fun, you know. I mean, normally you come out here to these races and you get a snooze fest, but we already saw a big crash. Nobody got taken out, so no harm, no foul. And then, you know, we still getting this crazy racing now. We got to focus on tire strategies. Not teams trying to make it 3 wide, trying to go up way up the racetrack. Gallimore did a slide earlier. This is exactly what you want when you watch NASCAR racing. I don't know what else you could want. I mean, I'm glad I'm not seeing too much fuel saving. That's the truth of the matter.
Yeah, you're seeing cars go absolutely all out for these positions right now as Bobby Anderson,
Whoa!
the 5. Whoa, yeah, he tried to get up to the top there and make a run. Got very loose, and now he's going to have to drop that car down as it's going to be Ralph Hutchison once again, the man on the high side, trying to make that line work. He really seems committed to it. Maybe waiting until this track hits a tipping point and these tires hit a tipping point and that outside lane is going to be more viable than it is right now. I don't know if we've quite gotten to that tipping point yet, although not a great corner there for Anderson. He had to lift pretty heavily, and Hutchison was able to take a deeper cut out of that corner, and he will get himself up to 4th, doing battle with Bobby Anderson there in the 5 on that inside lane, who's maybe being a little bit more cautious after having that big loose moment. And now I think the outside lane might finally be coming around to Ralph Hutchison because he's getting some runs. That car's in third. Vroman's going to jump up with him. And now we're going to see the outside lane try to make an attack for the lead here, and Delaney will go up with him.
Kolmacheski's stuck on the bottom. He's going to be trying to lead that bottom lane. And, I mean, I'd love to see that 88 do well. He has yet to win in this series. He's gotten good top 5 finishes in the past, but he's not considered a dominant driver by any stretch of the imagination. He's racing with B&P Motorsports right now, running P4 in that 88 car, but he's stuck in no man's land right now. That bottom lane is just died whenever that 19 caught to the front, and now more and more cars are flying by him on the outside. But how long will that last, as it looks like Vroman goes down to give him some draft, Delaney goes down to give him a little bit of draft, but he has no help, really. The 5 car ain't really giving him too much shot in the back bumper. Again, 5 car, the owner of the league, Bobby Anderson, who we saw get a little loose earlier, also having a great day for himself today.
I think Bobby Anderson's maybe worn those tires out, and he's thinking right now, I'm just going to make it to the end of the stage and try to snag some stage points here. I don't think he's pushing super hard to try to fight this line back up to the front of the field. I think he's mostly just wanting to hang on to this one and make it to lap 60 at the moment. So he's really not giving Kolmacheski the push that I think Kolmacheski wants at this point in time. And with how tight David Wood and Paul Hill and Lucas Hoytsma are running up on this top line, it's really preventing Kolmacheski from being able to actually pull up at all and get himself into the line that seems to be preferred right now, as Matthew David Wood is going to get a jump to the outside of Lucas Hoytsma that'll force that 97 car down to the bottom. Maybe that'll help as Jonathan Delaney runs to the inside through the corner, gives a little bit of draft to Hoytsma, and suddenly there's a little bit of life in that inside line once again here.
You know, you can see that outside line just gets such a huge run. They have to back off every time they get to the straightaway or something like that. Look at this 95. He's going to get a big old run. He's going to get right up to the back bumper of that 6 car. What is he going to do with it? He's going to be there. He decides to lift, stay with the 6, and that causes a stack up on the outside line, going all the way back to the 17 car, who's recovered decently, still running just outside the top 15. But that outside line gets these runs, massive runs. And since it's so early in the race and there's no reason to try and make any pass, a lot of them, they just end up dying. They end up lifting, letting that run die off. But that won't be that way forever. We got about 10 laps, 11 laps to go in the stage before we get to lap 60 for stage 1 completion. I don't know if that'll last forever. It's a matter of time, but now Hoytsma moves his way up to P2. From the bottom of the racetrack, he got by Vroman, and now he's sitting P2.
Good move for him down there as these cars are starting to be a little more competitive down here on the inside. I think it helps that they have that draft from Delaney, who's running a slightly different line to Lucas Hoytsma, Nicholas Vroman back here. Those cars are middle to top basically the whole way around, while Delaney is more willing as we're going to get the move here for the lead. Maybe Lucas Hoytsma dives to the inside. Can he get clear? Maybe, yes. Lucas Hoytsma's clear, and he'll be your new leader here at Atlanta.
6 car let him in a little bit more. He had room to go. Oh, they're wrecking in the back straightaway. Around goes the 60 car. Jedi Taylor sliding into turn number 3. More cars involved, but it looks like that will bring out our second yellow, and we're going to get a little bit of a dash to the finish of stage 1. Jedi Taylor in the 60 around. What caused that 60 machine of Jason Taylor, otherwise known as Jedi, to go around? Let's take a look at it.
Well, Casey Graves is going to get into the wall here off the corner. As you'll see, Sean Conklin gets into the left side, and Conklin gets bounced down into Jason Taylor, and that sends that car around into the outside wall and into Neil Pearson, who might have got the worst of it there. Tanner Marty also with a pretty good hit. I think everybody else avoided a lot of that damage. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, this is going to be a good view. We're going to have to take a look at this together as a group here, because there has been a warning in previous weeks. Not saying anything wrong about Conklin here, but there was a warning given by the admins of this league to that 17 in the penalty report last week. And that's racing. That's not his fault. I don't think 17 did anything wrong there.
Yeah.
So it was just a racing incident. 17 has nothing to worry about there. At least I think. I would say it doesn't look like any problems. When the 01 hit the wall, came down, and he was just trying to recover the car. It wasn't malicious by any driver on the screen. And luckily, judging by the way that wreck happened, I don't see very much damage on anybody.
No, I think that was definitely a racing incident. I don't think anybody involved there was really trying to do that or was really doing anything kind of out of the ordinary there. We're going to see a couple cars at the back come down. You're going to see Alan Duggar in here. He is one of the cars who stayed out last time. Tanner Marty has come down. He took some damage.
Ooh, yeah, he got
Blake Giglio
biggest
is in.
damage.
Yeah,
the biggest damage was
cars
that 29. Yeah,
are coming in
29.
here.
Look at that left front wheel if we can for a second on 29. He hit that wall a ton, and it bent in the right front wheel, and he's going to be there for a minute getting that fixed. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it just was rough.
I think he caught the he caught one of the walls pretty good. I think he caught the inside wall trying to dodge the accident, and that was what gave him the most of the damage. You're going to see him, and you're going to see Jason Taylor in to fix some damage. Neil Pearson got a good chunk of it as well. Giglio and Doug are already out of the pits here, and Conklin stays out, so he is going to just try to ride this thing to the end of the stage here and take tires then.
I mean, that's the right choice. But we're going to take a quick step aside, and when we come back, we'll have the conclusion of stage number 1. You're watching Maconi Entertainment from Echo Park. Don't go away.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back. Maconi Entertainment Full-Length Cup Challenge right here from Echo Park Speedway. I gotta tell you, folks, we're gonna get ourselves a heck of a little dash to the finish. I'm so excited. Here we go. Hoytsman, Delaney, Roman, Hutchinson, Wood, your top 5 back underway. Look at that inside line. Get that good jump. We're racing the end of lap 60.
And it is going to be a good jump for Hoytsma out in front there. My pick to win. Good throw at a dartboard. Oh, almost a moment there for Nicholas Vroman. He tried to get down to the bottom lane. Matthew David Wood was there, and he shut the door. And now David Wood will take advantage of his momentum and will try to run it up to the high side here. If he can get clear of Vroman, this is going to be a mad dash with 5 more laps to go at the line until the end of the stage. And these drivers are going to be going all out for stage points and the stage win here tonight. This is going to be fun.
Oh, man, I tell you what, we got cars in this field that are absolutely driving on the edge of control. Right there, Hoytsman goes up to the top to try and block off Matthew David Wood. He's getting a shot. Oh, contact almost spun out. Is that Roman car? He kept it straight. What on earth is happening? Good Lord, hang on to the car, boy. Heck yeah. And you can see coming across the line, getting about, I believe we're coming down to get 57. 3.5 laps to go, I believe, when they cross this, go down the back straightaway. Here we go. Still even. Paul Hill on the bottom. We hadn't seen him up front at all today. Top 5, maybe, but not top 2 until now. Look at this. 3 wide for the lead.
Matthew David Wood looked like he wanted the inside, couldn't get down, resorted to the middle, and it might work out for him in the end. But Hoytsma is taking the air off that 16 car, and now we're going to go 3 wide up front as the 6 car, Jonathan Delaney, running the wall up here with Lucas Hoytsma. This is going to be for the lead of the race as we're 3 wide all through the field now. It's all to play for. Cars in the wall. We're 4 wide down the back straightaway here. Somehow we get that sorted out, and Matthew David Wood is all over the place trying to hold on to P2.
Still 3 wide for third place, but Paul Hill scoots out, and he does not like seeing what he's seeing in his mirror here. We thought we were holding off until lap 250 to see 3 wide. Guess what? We're seeing it right now with just 2 laps to go in the stage. Up front, Paul Hill's got it, but what a move from Matthew David Wood to take it 3 wide. He's trying to hang on to the bottom. Roman looked to the inside. He was able to block him off. People dodging out of the way in the back. Doesn't want to be a part of this giant wreck that's building up. But here comes Hoytsma for the lead to the inside. Coming to get 1 more lap to go in the stage. Let's see what happens through the front straightaway. Who's going to get the run? It looks like you see Kumachevsky sitting right behind the 16, trying to give him a shot. Matthew David Wood with the 8 car on the front. I love that. Here we go, down the back. No runs being developed. Final 2 corners. And it looks like coming to the line, we are going to see Lucas Hoytsma cross the line. Number 1 again. He won last night. He wins stage 1 again today.
The caution will fly there as everybody makes it past the line. Man, you would have thought they were racing for the win of the race instead of a stage win there. That was fantastic. Lucas Hoytsma gets the win, but you can see all 10 cars within about half a second there. Paul Hill, Matthew David Wood, Nicholas Vroman, Jonathan Delaney, the rest of your top 5, and then Ralph Hutchison, Thomas Komachevsky, Dylan Basin, Paul Gallimore, and Bobby Anderson will claim your final stage point here tonight.
Oh, man. What a stage number 1, folks. Be sure to stick around. We're going to talk right now to the driver of the 97. Let's see if we can't bring him up here. Tell you what, he had a great interview with me yesterday. I'd love to do it again. Here we go. Lucas Hoytsma, my good boy, you got the job done. You saw the chaotic finish here towards the end of this thing. You won stage 1, man. How much fun are you having right now?
I'm having a blast again. These cars are way harder to drive than the ones last night. First stage win of the season, though. It's crazy I'm saying that with how well I've run. So feels really good. I'm starting to look like a Atlanta merchant, which I don't want to do, but it's a lot of fun here. So I'm having a great time.
Absolutely, man. You just have been dominant. You won last night. You won stage 1 today. What do you got to do to keep these guys behind you for this day?
Well, I got to start making friends again. Me and the 16 are racing hard. Me and Paul got together there, I think, with 2 to go on the stage. So we all got to kind of take it down a notch, I think, because we were going crazy there for those stage points. I don't know how we didn't wreck.
Pure talent, I think, Lucas. You guys got it. It was fun talking with you. Thanks for letting me, get a couple words in with you, and I'll get you back to your team.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk.
And no worries, buddy. Again, Lucas Hoytsma. He's always fun to talk to, but he seems a little more stressed this time than he was fun yesterday. I'll be honest. You could hear it in his voice. He's like, I can't believe we didn't wreck. Why are we racing like this?
Yeah, I'm glad I might get to go 1 for 1 on my predictions here. I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, you did great. That was a good choice. You did real good on your choice. Heck yeah. Picked a hell of a driver to pick the win. We're going to go ahead and take a quick step aside, and when we come back, folks, we're going to go ahead and get the start of stage number 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want Want to be the best? You can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Side by side for the lead at 70 or 60 miles an hour, however fast they're going. They ain't going very quick, 55 miles an hour, even slower than you might think. We're about to get ready for stage number 2 here. Again, Kirk Mills up here in the booth. We got Sky Shrek up here. Shrek up here. Sorry, I can't pronounce it right. How do you say it, Sky?
Sky Shrek.
Shrek. Actually,
like
Shrek.
The movie. Like the movie.
Oh, God. Thank God. Okay, good. I was like, it's not spelled the same, but it's good. All right, Sky Shrek up here with me, Kirk Mills. Morgan Cook, our producer. We're having a great time tonight. Look at this place, Echo Park. I don't care what you call it. I like Atlanta better, but, you know, Echo Park, they paid the money. Might as well make them feel happy about it. Here we go. We're going to get this restart back underway, and look at who's up front. Blake Giglio and Jose Medina, my man from Mexico. He lives in California, 55-year-old retired man. He was a corrections officer. He's starting on the bottom line. On the outside, Blake Giglio, new guy, pretty fast. He's going to be doing a good job. Let's see how he does. Restart line, look out. Oh, he does not get a good restart. Come on, Jose, get up the gas.
Well, Jose's problem is he did not take tires.
No, they didn't.
He came down. I think he put fuel only in that car here. He, along with Alan Duggar and I believe Blake Giglio as well, who pit on lap 50, all went fuel only on that caution. So that's going to be something that'll play a factor here in how they perform on the second stage. It's going to be Lucas Hoytsma, the first car who came down, put fuel and tires on that car. And then he's got Paul Hill behind him as well as Matthew David Wood, as these drivers are going to have the sun in their eyes down the front straightaway here as it sets behind the grandstands.
I can't see nothing. Can't see anything. It's so dang bright in that corner. Why did we build this track in this orientation? Goodness, let the sun go down behind the grandstands, not to the right of turn 1. Good Lord.
We go down here into turns 3 and 4.
Crazy stuff.
We're 3 wide here for a moment as Sean Conklin is trying to drive his way back through the field right now. Maybe doesn't seem to be working because he's got absolutely no help up there as he's finally taken his first set of tires of the race on that caution. So long way to go to get himself back up into the top 5, but we know he's obviously the points leader. He's got a lot of speed out here right now as Jose Medina holding steady in P3, trying to bridge that gap up to that first pack there in the top 2 with Giglio and Hoytsma holding on pretty well there. I assume he pit for tires on lap 50, and that's why he's able to keep it out here. So older rubber, but not too old that he's slipping back through the field immediately. You should be able to hold on to it for a little bit here.
Yeah, I'd love to see. He told me it was okay to do this. If we could somehow get that picture I sent you of him in his rig with the sombrero, this guy, like on the broadcast, he'd love to have that happen. Jose Medina is a driver who does not run up front hardly ever. He's very realistic driver, and he says it himself. And I'll tell you what, the guy is entertaining. He's fun. But the thing is that he's not a guy who's up front very often. And look at him. He's in a podium position right now. and he's running this tequila car that is created by some MMA wrestler or fighter, and he really likes this type of tequila. So anyway, the guy's super freaking cool. Jose Medina sitting in the top 3. This is not on my bingo card today, but he said his goal today was just to have a 0X at the end of all this. Happy to see him right now, P3, and I hope we can get this picture up. I don't know if we can, but we'll give it a try.
As Paul Hill is currently leading this outside lane, Alan Duggar, another one of those cars who pit on lap 50 and stayed out there right behind Medina. Paul Hill trying to get that outside lane going, but I think we are in the initial 10-15 lap period of a run where the tires are fresh and the inside lane is where you want to be. That will switch back, that will start to even out and eventually flip up to the outside lane, but we're just not there yet. As Hill jumped to the outside of Medina, got a little loose, had to back all the way out. And that car will lose not just the position ahead of Medina there, but will also drop behind Duggar and Matthew David Wood. Really loose moment there for Paul Hill, and he's going to be maybe letting off a little bit more into the corner to try and avoid that happening again here for the driver of the 26.
Yeah, I mean, all these other guys, Alan Duggar I've seen up front, Giglio's been up front before, Hoytsma, Wood, all these guys in the top 2, maybe Kulmacheski being an exception, has not really, we expect to see him up front. Again, the big surprise, you don't see, it's the equivalent of seeing like BJ McLeod leading a race, like seeing him up this high. That's the truth of it. It's awesome. And we're going to be able to show you a picture of him underneath the next caution is what we're hearing from producer. So we'll pull him up. He's got this cool little rig he has, and he runs with a sombrero on his head. He's got that cool, Mexican vibe. He loves it. He's a really cool dude. I just want to make sure we shout him out. Got 16 Matthew David Wood, though. Look, he got off the bottom, decides he wants to pull up in front of that 26 of Paul Hill. He wants to lead the outside line.
As the inside is maybe starting to fade a little bit here, we'll see how it goes. I think they've still got a little bit of laps left before that outside lane really starts to take effect and become the dominant one, as Matthew David Wood working hard right now to try and get himself around to Jose Medina. You got to think Giglio out in front here is on older rubber. He did pit on that lap 50-ish caution, and now he'll move up to the top, and that'll let Jose Medina take the inside here, but will that 8 car maybe hold up that line a little bit here because he is on older tires in comparison to Matthew David Wood, in comparison to Lucas Hoytsma, and he'll drop it right back down. So it'll be 2 cars on older tires with Giglio and Medina on the bottom, and Medina's going to back out a little bit there just to try and manage his rubber. 2 cars on newer tires, Hoytsma and Matthew David Wood up front, and those 2 cars are going to move up into the lead of the race on that newer rubber. Paul Hill will come with them. So I think we're hitting that tipping point where maybe the cars who pit on lap 52, who pit now 24 laps ago, last time for tires, are finally starting to lose momentum. And those cars who pit on the last caution are moving their way up. As it's Matthew David Wood down to the inside, he'll get clear of Hoytsma for the lead.
Already, I can tell you right now, Matthew David Wood must have the biggest smile on his face in the world right now leading this thing. He doesn't get a chance to be up front and lead as much as he does, but he won one of the duels of the super speedways earlier this year. He has a good shot to do it again. He's fast, no doubt about it. But again, super speedway king is the 97. All year, last year and this year, he has been a driver who's been able somehow, some way, some shape, some form, find his way to the front and have a chance at the win every time. And if we even go to the bigger tracks, you might look back at Michigan, for example. He was in a photo moto finish with Adam Benefield, somehow able to get just inches away from his first win of the season. And now he has a chance of doing it right now, running P2. But again, Matthew David Wood would love to get his first win of the season. Paul Hill would love to get his. So would Tyler Hunter, Thomas Kulmacheski, Blake Giglio, Graves. All of them have not yet won this season. They'd love to get a chance at it.
I said this was a track where underdogs could make their way up to the front and get a chance to win, and you've seen that already here tonight. Matthew David Wood up here, Kulmacheski having a great run all day long. You saw Jose Medina, he's dropped back a little bit now on that older rubber as Hoytsma retakes the lead, but he was up here for a while as well. Plenty of cars you don't typically see in contention for the wins of these races, in contention tonight, and if these cars can keep it clean up front, I think they're going to have good chances to win. Oh, we're going to have a car.
Oh, boy.
Tucker's
Tucker's around.
Back.
We got a big car, the 62. Neil Pearson is around. Neil Pearson in the 62. Oh, no. Heavy front end damage, sitting the wrong way on the racetrack, bringing out another caution. Third caution for incident today. Fourth caution, I believe, tonight for stages and crashes. Let's take a look and see what happened to the 62. Remember, this does not come from the crash, I don't believe. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, the 3-car accident starts with Michael Tucker. He gets loose on the top, goes into William Owens, goes into Neil Pearson, and that's your spinner in front of the track.
Do you remember we had him, Neil Tucker, he got sideways early in the race too. He had a self-spin at the same time. No caution came out for it. But this time, caution comes out. He's just driving a very loose race car, Tucker is.
And he's got to make sure he doesn't have any more of these, because it is a 17x incident point and DQ limit tonight. With 2 spins, he's definitely going to have some incidents counting towards that.
I hate to say this, but Neil Pearson, I got another one that was not your fault adding to the collection. We gotta have this growing collection of the 62 car with the nose facing the inside wall. This is now, I think, number 19 of the season where this has happened. Again, most of these were not his fault. So hate to see that. Now, since we got a caution, do we have the ability to bring up Jose's little picture here? Gotta show you guys. This is a crazy situation. So we're gonna show you this just 1 second here, and you'll be able to see the driver who we don't normally see up front, hardly ever. Again, Jose Medina went up there and got into the top 3, even was side by side for P2. This is the man. Look at the sombrero, the VR headset, 2 thumbs up, and an awesome racing rig. He has a whole room that's all NASCAR decorated, and 55-year-old guy, I talked to him for about 5-6 minutes before the race started, and I just thought this guy was super cool. And he's advertising his favorite tequila he likes to drink right now. He says it's a cool, refreshing drink, and he'd like to tell folks about it. So Jose Medina, found a way to get to the front so we could talk about him. Heck yeah, happy for the guy.
We're going to see some pit stops here. Well, some cars are going to stay out. I think it's going to be a pretty even split, actually. We're going to have Paul Hill. He was running 3rd. He's the first car who's going to come down. We're going to see Komacheski in, Sean Conklin in. He pit very recently. Tyler Hunter in as well. Blake Giglio, Dylan Basin. So about half the top 10 coming down. Gallimore, Duggar, Benefield, Truel, and then more cars as you start to get further back in the field.
A lot of cars choosing to come down. What did we see last time? We saw a caution happen, and when that happened, most of the field came down pit road. Most everybody else stayed out. But the big difference between that restart and this one is there's about 8 less laps on the tires of those that stayed out. Instead of having 30 laps, it's a little less. But again, here's the deal. We're not anywhere near the end of the stage here. End of the stage is lap 160. These guys, I don't know if this is necessarily the right idea. Again, I really don't think that staying out is going to be the plan here. But we're going to find out together. And, it's a chaotic thing, to say the least. And we'll see what happens when we come back. We're going to take a quick step aside. And when we come back, we'll see the restart and see what happens. You're watching Maconi Entertainment live from Echo Park.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, folks. We're about to get this thing back underway. Your top 5 looks to be Hoytsma, Wood, Graves, Delaney, and Corey Moore, and Evan Mesnard too. Jose Medina still in the top 10 P8. A lot of cars we don't see up front very often are here. Graves is doing great. Moore's doing great. Mesnard and Medina. Wow. I mean, if you could ask me that before this race started, I wouldn't know what to tell you. Here we go from the Echo Park, the paying people. We're about to get back going again from Echo Park. Restart. Big jump inside line, and Mesnard did not get going on that one.
No problems there for him, and it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for these cars who pit and took, in some cases, tires.
Whoa,
in some
60
cases,
car,
fuel
Jedi
only.
Taylor's around. Sorry, Jedi Taylor in the 60 got spun in the back of the field. They keep it straight, no caution. Yeah, definitely.
Let's get a replay on that here. Speaking of cars who are maybe in incident point trouble, the 60, not having a great one either. Paul Gallimore is going to get into the side of him as he got put into a real tricky situation there, trying to drop it down into the corner. You got to wonder, your top, as we wait to get to the replay, your top 11 cars are all ones who stayed out, so you got to wonder how that's going to work for their cars who pit getting through them. There's the contact for the 60. Got onto the nose of Gallimore. Great save to keep that thing straight.
Yeah, you had some help from Duggar there, but back live, if you take a look up here, it is a chaotic thing, and I got to say our producer's doing a fantastic job here. He's definitely doing all the hard work here. I'd love to see him come around and help us out here this afternoon. Oh my goodness, back there. Giglio almost caused a wreck with Hutchinson. Oh, 3 wide. Look at the 17 go through the middle.
I don't think, yeah, he's trying to make his way back up through the field as well. One of those cars who pit on that last caution, but when he pit, he took 4 tires. Call a couple cars, Tyler Hunter, Blake Giglio, maybe doing fuel only, but Conklin is in for 4 tires, and he is shooting his way up through the field here, trying to get to that front of the pack in a hurry, using that extra set of tires that he saved by not pitting during stage 1 to get his way, hopefully, back up through the front of the field now if he's able to make it work. He is off like a rocket.
Yeah, look at that run that 17 has. He just didn't lift at all in that corner, it didn't look like. He's now pushing the 41 of Dyson. Outside line, big checkup. 41's going into the corner for P2. Right on the back bumper, you got Conklin trying to get there too.
As Conklin is really going to push Andrew Dyson. Andrew Dyson, Casey Graves, 2 cars we haven't really seen up front too much so far this race, but they're up here in the top 3 running right now as Dyson is shooting up to the back bumper here. Graves' fastest car in practice, so he's got a lot of speed in that thing. Dyson was also up there towards the top of the board, was P6 in practice. So despite Graves starting mid-pack and Dyson starting 32nd and last tonight, both of these cars have played some strategy and now have their cars running up inside the top 3 as Sean Conklin really giving some pushes, but the outside lane is maybe the preferred lane right now. See the big movers right there. Dyson, Conklin, Broman, Graves, all cars right up at the front of the field here.
Oh my God, 29 spots for Dyson. He went through the whole dang field to get up to the front. He started on the last row. And now look at him. He's all the way back up to the front row. Oh, man, I love this so much, man. You know, with these cars, which are not necessarily the best cars in the world, this is the best you can get on super speedways. This is awesome. Look at that. Middle 3 wide for 17 for Conklin. My goodness, right there. Trying to get the draft, and the 016 going to be left out to dry on the top. Will he hang on to it? Pinching. Looks like Roman's pushing that 17, and the battle's going to be for P2 into turn 3 and 4, rather.
And Conklin dives that thing down to the inside, and he's got the run. Only one more car. It's Lucas Hoytsma on the older tires, 30-lap old rubber, separating Sean Conklin from the front of the field, and he's got so much speed here, he might just be able to do it down the straightaway. Look at that. He's going to get it done right down the straightaway, down into turn 1, and Sean Conklin, your new leader. I expect him to hold this for a little bit. because he has the freshest tires in the field, and he is cruising right now. Next car on fresh rubber making their way up is all the way back in 13th. It's Hunter Truex, but he has not been able to dice the field at all. He's been stuck behind this pack of cars who pit on lap 64 on the stage 2 caution, and that is going to let Honklin run away as Hoytsman's going to try it back down to the inside. Conklin is going to run right on his door, and he'll have the advantage on exit. And Hoytsman almost stored him there as Delaney's going to help that 97 car instead of the 17.
They like working together. Delaney and Hoytsman, they're a little bit buddy-buddy, but that 17's on a different team. That's a different story. They all have an affiliate kind of partnership, all three of them, but not necessarily on the same team. So I don't know. What I can tell you right now is Conklin's coming back right now to the bottom of the racetrack again, coming to get lap 93. And he's just able to maintain the speed. But the 97 on the top, he ain't giving it up. He's going to have a big old run, but side draft's going to slow him down. Graves has to check up, and the 97's able to hang on to the lead. But you had mentioned a driver, Hunter Truex, just a little bit ago. He would like to have, I believe, his girlfriend's Nana and Mama a big shout-out. So he asked me to do that. I'm doing that for you now. That's your chance right there. Hunter Truex, I believe. Yes.
Well, he's trying to get his way back up. He does have those fresh tires, so he's able to take advantage of them and try to create some space in this pack, like we saw Sean Conklin do earlier. You see that last pit lap there on your ticker. That shows that Hunter Truex on 4 tires is the next car behind Sean Conklin, who's going to be up to drive through the field here. 2 of those cars, Tyler Hunter, Paul Hill, also Komacheski, Blake Giglio, they took fuel only on that caution, so they are not on the same tire strategy that cars like Conklin and Truex and Tanner Marty are on at the moment. We're going to get one car kind of bent out of line there. That is Hunter Truex. He might have the better tires, but when he's on the top with no help, he can't make anything happen. He needs to work with cars. He needs some help to get himself up the field.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took me 95 laps there, Truex, but wanted to make sure I shouted out your, I believe you said your girlfriend's Nana and Mama. So thank y'all for coming in and watching a NASCAR race that is kind of interesting with your guy friend there right there. There you go. All right, anyway, back up towards the front. All right, tell you what, we got about a single file line up front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way back for the top 7. And it looks like that 42, I want to talk about him for a minute. Corey Moore in the 42. We don't get a chance to talk about this 42 car very often. He's not up front that often either. Again, like you said, this is an underdog's playground. He loves it. He's racing right now with Precision Speed Solutions in that 42, I believe. And he's getting some help. And he's doing really good for himself. Top 10 running position. I'm sure he'd love to be able to make this top 5 finish or even going for the win this afternoon if he can get up to the front.
Here's the car trying to drop down there a little bit further back, as that is Hunter Truex there in that 71 car. He is really going to try to use these tires to get his way up to the field here. I mean, Hoytsma, Graves, Vroman, Delaney, they're all on 34 lap old rubber. That's really around the point when these tires are going to start to wear, are going to start to get loose, and are going to start to really, really fade. And that might flip things a little bit more in Hunter Truex's favor as this run goes on. These cars have done a great job to stick together to keep Truex out. But right now, he's running what I would consider to be not the preferred line at the moment, and he's still making some pretty good speed down there on the inside.
This is where the calm is kind of hitting in the storm right now, except for that mid-pack. They're getting 3 wide in some places. I see Giglio up there. 41 doesn't know it. He almost squeezed Mesnard in the wall, but they end up hanging on to it. And I got to say, I mean, up front in the top 10, yeah, this is more of like a calm situation, but still in the double file stuff with Ralph Hutchinson and Truex and Tyler Hunter, Dyson, this is where the real chaos is going to end up being. Because these guys are going to have to try their best to keep the car in a position where they don't lose the draft. That's going to be the goal. Don't lose the draft, no matter what you do. Get into the top lane now. It's your best chance. You got to find a hole, get there quick. Top line's prevailing right now.
We do have some cars who have seemingly intentionally lost the draft here. They're trying to stay out of trouble. Michael Tucker, one of them. William Owens, June Salim, and Jason Taylor all out of there as well, along with Devin Medeiros. I don't think we've mentioned June Salim at all because pretty much every time we've had a restart, he has immediately dropped out of the pack and has gone to the very rear of the field. He's just trying to dodge an accident, bide his time, and wait till we hit stage 3. And then I imagine that 67 car, who is just outside the top 16 in points right now, will try to gain some points and make his way up to the field at the very end of this race.
You know, I'm noticing one car driving really aggressive. You see them on your screen, that 8 car and the 26. They have made it 3 wide up to that 3rd lane on multiple occasions. You saw it happen there on Tyler Hunter. He jumps up way up to the top outside line. He's the only car doing it, but it's also the only line that seems to be working for him. He hits the wall a little bit there. That's why I lost some momentum, but I still think that he's using that very top lane, and he's getting into the outside of Hutchinson. He's on the move towards the front.
Yeah, Giglio is moving his way up through the field here. I don't think he does have fresh tires. I'm showing a 6-second pit stop there 21 laps ago for him, so I think that was likely a fuel-only move for Blake Giglio, but he's got it working pretty well right now as you see Corey Moore, Giglio, Ralph Hutchison all kind of in this battle. Hutchison is all on his lonesome down here as this outside lane is really going to move, and Ralph Hutchison will be strung out to dry here with no help down on the bottom. Cars seem more favorable to run the very top than the very bottom here, although that little bit of 3-wide action will get Hutchison a little bit of space, and we'll get Corey Moore drop down there behind him.
I feel like that 8 car is being really, really brave right now. He gets a big old run, and now the 16 saw what he did there, and the 16 tried it, and it didn't really work out for him this time. 8's getting a big old run. He has to lift a little bit. I don't think he's going to do it this time, but when they go into the corner, he shoots up to the very top line, and you got to be brave. You're going to hit the wall if those tires don't stick. You got to hope to God they stick. If they stick, you are going to be going fast and good. Watch this 8 car right here. He's going to get a run. He's developed the run. Does he go to the top? 16 blocks it. He knew that was coming. 8 had to lift, and now he's kind of stuck in position until he can find a way around the 16 to Matthew David Wood.
We're seeing a couple other cars further back try that. Hunter Truel is running that to mixed results, and I think we've seen a little bit of Evan Mesnard doing that as well. Mesnard running back in 13th at the moment. Truel sitting back in 10th, although I think Truel has maybe decided that is not the life for him, and he's dropped back down as we're 3 wide with Evan Mesnard running the top here. He's got Dylan Basin, he's got Nolan Hodgson underneath him here. Down into turn 1, and we'll see which car ultimately ends up prevailing. Looks like the inside's gonna have the closest help, but it's just not the fastest lane right now. So Mesnard and Nolan Hodgson will get clear up there on the top as here's a move. Matthew David Wood trying to get the inside going. Doesn't really have any help in doing so, however.
Well, hold on a minute. Do y'all remember Nolan Hodgson? He had a problem going on the pit road early in this race. Right after a restart, he spun. He gained multiple laps down. He has gained his laps back with the amount of cautions we've had, and he's in the top 15. What a recovery for Nolan Hodgson to recover from 2 laps down all the way to 13th in less than 2 stages. No one's a lap down, actually. Looking at this, the only people that are on the racetrack, all of them are on the lead lap. Nobody's a lap down.
Only car out of this one right now is Brian Wertman, who I believe DNF'd about 30 or so laps ago with an internet failure, but that car was running laps and running multiple laps down as is, because I think he also started this race with an internet failure. So maybe not the race he would have wanted, as we're 3 wide a little bit further up through the field here. Graves, David Wood, and Nicholas Vroman going at it in that pink car, and Graves is running the very top. He's starting to drop back a little bit. Started this lap in 3rd, now back in 5th, as he is losing time to Delaney and Vroman, and now Hoytsma back at it for the lead. What can he do? Is he going to get it? Well, we'll see. I think he's going to get clear.
This is the most realistic version of this track I've ever seen. Like this is what I expect to see probably this coming Sunday, tomorrow. I mean, they get so much big runs, and they're able to take advantage of it, take the lead. And look at this. The 17 tries the outside. He's going to get there. No, he gets blocked off, but he's still trying. He's going to get, he got there. Holy cow. 17 Conklin and Hoytsma. You don't want to be on the bottom. Oh, he makes contact, hits him in the left rear quarter panel. They're still racing hard for the lead.
Hoytsma 46 lap full tires, Conklin 27. You'd think he had the advantage, but Hoytsma's giving him all he can handle here, with Jonathan Delaney now down on the inside, pushing that 97 car back up to the front. Real tight help there. We'll get Hoytsma clear back for the lead, but Conklin not gone yet. He can never truly be gone at a drafting track like this one is. It's even more of a drafting track with the horsepower increase. They're going to door each other again down here into turn 1, and this battle's still anything but over. Conklin gets the lead back for now. Giglio, Delaney both up in this fight as well. Here comes Matthew David Wood. This is getting good. Out lap 111, 50 left to go in the stage.
Oh my goodness gracious, look at Delaney. This is amazing. Yeah, that 6 car Delaney, able to shoot it down to the bottom, able to do things that, like the top 2, the 97 to the 17. I mean, this is expert. These 2 obviously, I think, have the best cars out there. They obviously do. But in terms of where the 6 car can go, who leads this is determined on where the 6 goes. And look at that 97 lost all that momentum because he lost his help. 6 goes for the lead to the bottom. He's going to slide up, try to do a little bit of a slide job. Not enough room. And they're side by side for the lead again. Conklin doing a great job of sitting right in the right position. First car on the outside line can really have a lot of competitive moving position from there. But Giglio, remember, he was the guy who was the master of going up to the top line, making it 3 wide and making passes. He's laying back a little bit right now. Gaining a run. I think he's going to try it here. Will he try to go up to the very top? Nope, he backs off. Still side by side for the lead.
Well, he's up there. He's certainly going to have an opportunity to do it here very shortly if he wants to, as Delaney continues to run there on the inside of Sean Conklin, trying to take that lead away. And you've got Lucas Hoytsma back in here as well, still looking to get his way up into the top few positions, as Sean Conklin sits back now to 3rd because Delaney's gotten around him, and now Hoytsma's trying to get around him. Hoytsma doesn't have the run, so it'll be right back in Conklin's favor. And with Delaney opting to run that low side, Conklin is going to be up in the middle. He'll try to get him right here. No run at all. That car in the 17 has maybe burned up his tires trying to make his way up through the field earlier. And I wonder if they're just worn, if he's just used them up, and maybe they've leveled out a little bit more in comparison to Hoytsma, in comparison to Delaney and Hutchison, who pit 18 laps earlier. And that's maybe what's got him dragged back into this fight that for so long he was clear of.
Huge checkups now. I think you can see a kind of a gap between the top 10 going back to about Nolan Hodgson right now. He's running P11. The top 11 kind of have a little bit of a breakaway over P12, which is Casey Graves, who's backed off quite a bit. And there's still cars going up near the wall. It is chaotic.
Yeah, we're still 2 by 2 up here at the very front of the field, and you've got Blake Giglio up in this as well. So this is going to be a really exciting battle. We might go 3 by 3 here because we've got Matthew David Wood up into the fight as well. I don't think we're maybe too far from seeing a pit stop here for some of these cars that might have to occur under green. We're 53 laps into this run for Hoytsma, for Delaney, for Hutchison, and that maybe could lead to a green flag pit stop for these cars before too long. Can't count that out if this race stays green.
You can see it right there. Side by side still for the lead. And, you know, I just love seeing this. You got the pole center in the 19. You got the 17 Coke driver, previous Coke driver in the 6 car, and the best super speedway driver we have in the series statistically with the 97. I mean, what more can you want? As it looks like we have a DQ on the racetrack. Neil Pearson in the 60 car out of the race.
And that is, I would assume, an incident point disqualification there. You only get 17X tonight, and he's maybe falling victim to that.
Oh, yeah, he hit the wall. Yeah, he's out. He hit the wall, and he scraped up against it, and he was gone. Unfortunate for that 62. No, it's not really worth looking at, but it was unfortunate for the 62. Not a great day. Oh my goodness, look at that. Devin Medeiros 20 car lap down. He got caught by the leaders, and now we got the 19 of Hutchinson going down pit road. Something happened up front.
Green flag pit stops may be in effect here. I wonder if that's what's going on as we're more than halfway through the stage. 41 to go, although you think he'd want to come down with a pack, and he will have a pack. He's going to have a couple cars. Casey Graves, Bobby Anderson, Sean O'Brien, all coming down with that car. Evan Mesnard in as well. So as we're 3 wide back here, this is going to be fascinating as we make our way down the back straightaway. Matthew David Wood down on that inside lane with Paul Hill, with Devin Medeiros up in this pack getting lapped. You can't count out the battle for the lead because you've still got Conklin, Hoytsma, Jonathan Delaney. I mean, this is going to get wild here as cars try to make their moves down pit road very shortly.
Oh my goodness gracious. Here we go. And the thing is, Delaney loves seeing them side by side in their mirror. That's how the end of the race last night ended up going for the 97. He saw the 6-car Delaney and also I believe it was the 22, Jacob Simpson at the time, side by side, battling each other for second place. And that's what solidified the win for Hoytsma, who was able to just see him battle side by side in the mirror the entire way. And you can't win a race just running side by side. You got to make a move. 97 finally gets a shove from the 8-car Giglio. 97 pulls up to P2, now trying to catch up to the 6-car Delaney.
And those pit stops split this pack in two. So you've got a lead pack of about 11 cars here, and then Alan Duggar, Corey Moore leading a second pack as the 17 scrapes it off the wall up at the front of the field, and we have a
36.
problem for Michael Tucker trying to get into the pit lane. He spun it on pit entry, made it into the pits, but he lost a lot of time as a result of that, and he's also coming in basically alone with no help, which will hurt him. Coming down to the end of this one is Nolan Hodgson, Blake Giglio running side by side down the back straightaway here, and Hodgson will take over that spot for P4. Giglio starting to drop a little bit back as Delaney, Hoytsma, and Conklin are still your top three. Nothing has changed up there. Delaney, he's led quite a few laps. He's been up in the top 5 for pretty much all of the race tonight, and he's staying there right now.
Oh, well, I can tell you right now, we're about to see one of my favorite phenomena in all of iRacing sim sports, which is the transition from day lighting to night lighting. When that happens, you're going to see kind of like a lag spike, and then the graphics will change drastically. The track will get darker, cars will have brighter, and that's when the lights turn on. So get ready for that too. It's one of my favorite moments. I love to pinpoint it in every broadcast. So keep an eye. It could happen anywhere in the next 15, 20 minutes, or even in the next 5 seconds. You never know.
Got some cars coming off pit road there right as your leaders went around. Conklin and Hoytsma are still side by side here, and I think we're going to see pit stops out of these cars. I would imagine within the next 5 to 10 laps here, as we are 61 removed from the pit stop at the start of stage 2, and there's only a certain number of cars, only a certain number of laps you can make. We're going to take a peek back at the second pack here. It's currently being led by Alan Duggar, Corey Moore in this one, as well as Andrew Dyson, Benefield, Gallimore, Kolmacheski, Tanner Marty, and then Stephen Williams and Jose Medina back here. As we're going to have Michael Tucker fresh out of the pits rejoining this pack. As we're getting a little bit squirrely up front here with Giglio, David Wood side by side.
Yep. So you see what happened here? It happened in the middle of his conversation. The lights changed, the track changed, the cars changed. This is not a so subtle change. It reminds you that we're in a simulator and not in real life every time that happens. But when it does, you know it, and it happens so good, and the track changes the look completely. So now it's nighttime, lights are on. The nighttime is the right time. Up front, Delaney, Hoytsma, and Conklin. When are you coming down? We got a little bit of time to figure that out.
Almost looks like the track has more rubber on it, even though I know that's not true, just from the darker shade of the iRacing coloring out here as it's Conklin and Hoytsma, and it's Hodgson and David Wood. I've said those names about 20 times over the last 5 or so laps, but it's true, because they're the side-by-side battle that just will not quit. No car has really been able to get even here with the tires so worn. You're having to see cars really back out through these sets of corners, and that's what's happened for these drivers. Conklin will finally get a push up through the outside here if he can make it stick on Jonathan Delaney. Seems to be going a little bit quicker as Delaney runs him up the road, and Conklin will go dead even. The issue is he just has no help. Delaney is Hoytsma, and Conklin is kind of all out on his own here as, whoa, here comes Nolan Hodgson up into the fight, but he's going to scrape the wall.
Yeah, again, what a recovery for that 12 car. 2 laps down, ended up getting back out there, and he's in a position as they're bobbing and weaving further behind him. But now he's in the top 5. Nolan Hodgson is recovered. Dylan Basin, he's been running really top 15, top 20. Not necessarily having the best of days for him. Side by side for the lead, though. Delaney under fire. You see Conklin on the outside trying to make it work. Delaney on the bottom. Big push from Matthew David Wood on the top. I think that's going to help that 17 car help out. So 130. We're trying to get to lap 160. We got about 30 laps to go. And, oh, here they go. They're coming down.
Here we go. This is the big round of pit stops. Delaney in. Hoytsma will join him. Paul Hill coming in as well. Tyler Hunter. A lot of these cars who stayed out or who had pit at the stage and stayed out on the subsequent caution, are going to come in now. This could be trouble for Matthew David Wood because he stayed out here. He's going to have no friends. Every other car who's around him pit 49 laps ago. He pit 67 laps ago, and it's about 5 seconds back to the next car on his strategy. Matthew David Wood could have problems here coming down pit road.
Yeah, and take a look right now. Ralph Hutchinson in the 19 car is currently leading a pack of cars of those that came down pit road, and he is going to be, I think he just passed all of the cars that came down pit road. I think that 19 car is inheriting the lead here. They pitted early, and it is benefiting them now. How long will this last? Only time will tell, but this will be the battle for the eventual lead once the rest of the cars choose to come down pit road.
Yeah, Hutchinson's going down the front straightaway right now, and Hutchinson will start to cut through this pack of cars. You can see them all leaving pit road as Hutchinson makes his move around all of them. It's going to be close. He's going to come out ahead of most, but not all of them. He is going to come out behind Vroman. I think he'll pass him here down the straightaway. But Tyler Hunter, Paul Hill, looked like they've made it out in front of that 19 car of Ralph Hutchinson. So that's going to be how that shakes out as Hunter Truel is in the pits now, all on his lonesome. And yeah, it's going to be 2 tires actually for Paul Hill and Tyler Hunter there. It was 4 for Ralph Hutchinson. So that is going to be the dividing line as Vroman came down for 2, and then I think Delaney and Hoytsma both came down for 4. So that's what shook up kind of the pit road exit there. And now everybody's coming down. So Matthew David Wood will have some friends as Conklin, Hodgson, and Basin will all come down with him. And it's just Steven Williams and Jose Medina staying out on the racetrack. Jose Medina will inherit the lead until he eventually makes his own pit stop.
Jose Medina leading the lap. That is not on my bingo card, but that may have just happened today. Good for you, 40. Coming down pit road now. Just don't spin the car out, bud. This is where you got to slow down a whole lot, and he sure does. So there's the rest of the field on your screen. 60 cars.
Well, Medina loops it. Oh, he's in the inside wall.
Oh, no. I said don't do it. I said don't do it. There's no such thing as jinx. It doesn't happen. It just happens. It's racing. There's no such thing. I still don't believe in that, Jack. But that 40 car, unfortunate, man. I hate to see that for him. It looks like the leaders, Conklin, the 12 car, Nolan Hodgson, they're all getting passed big time. They're going to fall outside the top 10, but look at this 40 car here.
Yeah, it's just a difference in tire strategy where some cars took 2, some took 4. There goes Medina around into that inside wall, and that's a pretty gnarly hit there.
Sad. Good man. He's a good man. It's unfortunate. All right, back up to the front.
Jason Taylor is going to inherit the lead here by about a lap. That is because he has not pit yet, so he will be on his own program up there in that 60 car. He pit 54 laps ago. I don't think he can make it to the end of the stage. He might be playing this for a caution here to try and get himself up the field with a caution, as it'll be Paul Hill, Tyler Hunter. Your top 2 cars, both coming down to take 2 tires. Nicholas Vroman took 2 as well, and then everybody else has come down for 4. That pack is led by Jonathan Delaney, but it's got Ralph Hutchinson in it as well. Delaney on the best tires out of anybody because he took 4, and he came down as one of the last group of cars, so he would be the favorite to get the stage 2 win, but we've still got 23 to go.
Yeah, we saw last week when a driver was able to stay out, catch a caution at the exact right time. That was Dustin Hall on the 1 car who's not here today. Dustin Hall was able to get a perfectly timed caution and be able to inherit a lot of spots. So that's what Jedi's trying to do. Jason Taylor, Jedi Taylor. But look at the 17 shooting up 3 wide on the outside, trying to make that work. My goodness, what a move. And he's got fresh tires too, way fresher tires than anybody around him.
Yeah, he's shot up through the field real quick. He's on 4 fresh tires too, and they are slightly faster than Delaney's by just a couple of laps. But with his speed, with his talent, that could be the difference there for Sean Conklin in the 17 car, as he's got that car running real well. Going to take a shot from behind from Delaney, and this will get him up to the outside of Tyler Hunter. Could get him up to the outside of Paul Hill here in just a moment as well. Massive run for that 17 car in the 6, and Sean Conklin will be your new leader with very little difficulty.
Yeah, I tell you what, it is going, this is an eventual lead here. Again, Jedi Taylor staying out. So 17, what I'm noticing is, look at this. They look like they're tandem drafting in Daytona in 2011. My goodness, nose to tail, they ain't lifting off each other. Tandem drafting is back a little bit with these two. Look at it, they're still connected.
And they are shoving each other all the way up through the field here. They'll get around the lap car of Jose Medina recovering from his spin. Paul Hill will be the next closest driver to these cars. He'll try to hold on to the run. This is still second. We are still waiting on Jason Taylor to come down. He's playing the long game here. I think he's going to run that thing until it's out of fuel and just hope a caution comes out and gets him back to stay on the lead lap. But for right now, it is going to be him in the lead, Sean Conklin in second until this all cycles back around. As you got, Casey Graves up in the wall in a 3-wide situation further back. He'll drop a couple spots as you're going to see Tyler Hunter get around him. It's Medina on the bottom of that 3-wide as he gets lapped here by a few more cars. And Casey Graves is in the wall once again, struggling to hold on to that thing on the very top line. He drops quite a few positions.
I hate to see that for the 01. He was having a decent day there, just not necessarily what we're looking for right now. Now the question is, I don't think Jedi is, if he were to stay green, this is not going to help Jedi at all. He's going to have no help. It's not going to be good for you. It's going to be a problem. But right here, car on the apron going into that corner. Slides up the racetrack, almost makes contact with the car. Able to save it. Again, that was a 36 of Tucker. We saw him get loose earlier and cause a crash. But this, again, will be the battle for the eventual lead. You got Nolan Hodgson there, Paul Hill, Roman, Basin, Delaney, Conklin, all of them on the screen. All have a shot to win this stage 2 on lap 160.
And there's only about 17 laps left to go here until the end of the stage. So we've ran green for much of this one. And you've seen that here because the pack is a bit more strung out. There is still a good group of cars up front here that UC Racing that is going to be the battle for the stage win here. And if we see a battle anything close to what we saw at stage 1, is we're 3 wide with the 12 car of Nolan Hodgson trapped in no man's land in the middle and rapidly sliding backwards. If we see a battle anything like what we saw in stage 1, it'll be pretty hectic coming down to the end of this one as cars will vie desperately to pass Sean Conklin for the lead.
I know this is probably a weird time to ask, but can we get a camera angle of the 19 car with the, not necessarily the cockpit view, but the gyro, let's say gyro. Because if we look at this, look at his view right here. He's kind of got this clear view. He's got all the cars in front of him. He can see everything. But when you look through the car in front of you, you cannot see what's happening in your line in front of the car in front of you. You don't have that ability until you get to the corner. Maybe you can see the leader second place, but you can't tell what happens. You can't tell if they stack up. You can't tell much of anything. You got to have a tremendous amount of trust in the car in front of you that they're going to make the right decision. As he goes to the top 3 wide, you can see Roman below him. And when you're up this high, you can see a whole lot more. But Hutchinson, I mean, your heart rate jumps through the roof, especially when you're in a VR headset or if it's real life. You have that happen. It is a terrifying feeling knowing that you just have to trust the cars in front of you aren't going to have any problems.
And Jason Taylor is coming down to pit this lap, so this will cycle this battle between Sean Conklin and Jonathan Delaney back to the lead of this race with Taylor in the pits. And Paul Hill, Blake Giglio, everybody will be racing for the lead. It's a big dive for Giglio to the inside of Jonathan Delaney. Nothing happening just yet, but he does have some help. He's got Dylan Basin, he's got Lucas Hoytsma queued up just behind him as we'll go on board with Blake Giglio here as he drops this car in on the inside. Let's see how he runs down into the corner. Holding on to it pretty well at the moment. Oh yeah, there you go. He has to jerk it back to the outside. He'll get loose. That'll expose him. Slide him back into the middle. And now that's going to be an advantage from the outside lane as Dylan Basin trying on his own. Here goes here goes Giglio, excuse me. Big loose moment there. He managed to hold on to it. That car struggling right now. He'll go from 3rd to 7th, maybe 8th in the span of a lap.
Yeah, that car's not handling real good. He's got to get out of there. I mean, at this point, whenever you got a car that handles that poorly, I mean, I get out of the way. Because at that point, it's a danger. You don't want to wreck your car. You want to be able to live and fight another lap. You got a stage to go. I mean, you're going to have a guaranteed caution. At this point, I just ride around at the tail end of this line until all the other cars start having handling issues, and then you pedal to your gas all the way to the front. Single file for the top 10 now as the cars have gotten settled in. And, I mean, all I can say is that once you get single file like this, it is so hard to make a pass for the lead. Look at your top 2, for example. It's Basin and Conklin, 2 teammates. They're going to work together to try and avoid anybody trying to get by these two. I mean, that's beautiful teamwork right there, trying to work together. But Delaney's not going to let that happen for long. He's going to try and do everything he can to get by that 06. He's got to do something. He's got to work with the 26, I think, to be able to give him any help.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to see this single file racing last for very long. As Bobby Anderson almost into the back of Ralph Hutchison there, as that car tried to take a shot further up the racetrack, and he will lose a position to Lucas Hoytsma in the process. Although Hoytsma, he's kind of left out on his own down there on the inside line. He's going to lose quite a bit of time. And now he'll eventually be able to get back in P8, but tried the inside, could not make it work at all there. Right now, everybody's single file. We'll see how long this lasts, because at a certain point, you're going to have to pull out. You're going to have to make some moves if you want to be the winner of Stage 2. And if you're maybe Vroman, maybe Casey Graves back here, you've still got to gain a couple spots to get stage points.
Here's a big run. Again, the 6 is pushing the 06, but 06 decides to push the 17. They're all just pushing each other very hard right here. I don't think that 06 is going to be willing to make any moves until like the last lap of the stage. We'll have time to see if that happens or not. But you can see that this top group here has really solidified themselves the top 14. But everyone behind that's fallen back pretty dang far off.
Well, we're getting a little bit of side-by-side here, because Paul Hill is going side-by-side with Nolan Hodgson up here inside the top 5, but no one drops down to help Hill, and now he's kind of a sitting duck as Basin got out of line there for a moment up front, but everybody sorts it back out.
All right, folks, here we go. Coming down to get, looks like around 7 laps to go on the stage this time by. And what are they going to do? What do we got to have happen here? I want your analysis here. I want you to tell me real quick, what do you think if you're, say, the 6 car or the 12? What do you got to do to win this stage?
You've got to find a friend. You've got to find someone who's going to help you. You've got to find someone who's willing to push you up to the front. And you've also got to dodge the lap traffic of Devin Medeiros, of Corey Moore, of William Owens right up the road. Could you maybe use those cars to try to get yourself up the field? We'll see. Doesn't look like it. I think these leaders are going to have to go single file, but they should dice through them pretty nicely. Well, never mind actually here, because Medeiros is going to drop down in between Delaney and everybody else. And this is going to stack things up here, because Basin and Conklin have created some separation through these lap cars.
Now remember, this is what they're racing for. It's not William Owens or Devin Medeiros trying to block the entire field here. It's 2 cars trying to fight for the free pass. They need to be right there, first car 1 lap down, to get a free pass. So they're racing their own race. They don't get to have a chance to, stay on the lead lap. They got to push hard like they're on the lead lap. They got to be ahead of each other. So it's not like they're blocking these guys. They're intentionally trying to stay the number 1 car 1 lap down. And every car in the top 4 is running a different line that time. Just all over the place, trying to find everything they can.
Well, Nolan Hodgson is going to try another shot to the inside here, but once again, I really just don't think he has the support at the moment. But let's see if he can get a run going here on Delaney. It does not look like that is going to happen. Hodgson will sit P2. And Ralph, oh, there we go. We're wrecking behind him. 20 car, Devin Medeiros around. And that'll bring out the caution just shy of the end of stage 2. And Medeiros is going to immediately leave the session there. He just got loose out of the corner and contacted Lucas Hoytsma, but I don't think that car took any major damage. Giglio might have gotten the worst of it.
Oh my goodness gracious. Medeiros going around. And I can tell you it wasn't just him. Tucker also got a little bit of damage here too. Look at that. Giglio got some right front damage. And then right back here, if you look at Tucker, he gets loose, he tries to correct it, he turns right, and the one lesson I learned when I came here to test with these guys with the 110 horsepower test, they told me, do not turn this car right or it will go right. So, unfortunate for that Tucker car. Look at how this works. If we can go on board, that's probably going to be the best bet to see how this works. Let's take a look right at it. Tucker. He's going to have that wheel. He's already spun out twice on accident there, so that car's already free. We know that. He sees the smoke. He gets on the brakes. He turns left, tries to save it, turns right, and it goes right, and then it goes left and into the wall. Light contact. But I feel bad for Devin Medeiros. He was trying to get the lucky dog, but when that happened, man, he just up and left. So, as to coin a phrase from Ron Mons, he likes to say his give a damn broke, but he might have been DQ'd there. I'm not sure. So in that case, they give a damn broke. That's unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and take a quick step aside here.
This is going to be the end of stage 2, I think, by the way.
Oh, it is? Let's take a look.
Yeah, they've extended the caution, so I believe this will be the end of stage 2.
Wow. Let's take a look at our stage 2 results real quick on the screen if we have the ability to pull that up.
You might want to fact check me on that, but I think this is going to be the end of stage 2.
Absolutely. Stage 2 results on your screen. Conklin, Basin, Delaney, Hutchinson, Hodgson. Wow, a lot of sons here. Anderson, Hoytsma, Hill, Giglio, and Wood. Your top 10 on the screen. We're going to take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll take the final run to the finish line. It's going to be 100 laps to decide who is going to win here at Echo Park, Atlanta, whatever the heck you want to call it. You're watching Maconi Entertainment. Full Length Cup Challenge will return. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
You hear that? That's a sign of freedom. We're about to get the final 100 laps to go in this great NASCAR race. Here we go off turn number 4. Look at that pace car. It's going to dive in the pit road. Got 2 Ryko cars in the front. You got Delaney. You got Hutchinson right there in the second row. God knows who else is coming through the line. Restart. We're back underway.
Sean Conklin gets a good jump there over Dylan Basin, Jonathan Delaney, as everybody now on the same pit strategy. The whole field came down with the exception of our lucky dog, Jose Medina, who kept it out on the track. Everybody else on the same pit strategy for, I think, the first time since the very start of this race. So it's going to be a dead heat right now, and I think you're going to see racing more similar to what we saw at the start of this one.
26 cars on a lead lap out there on the racetrack right now. All of them would love to be able to cross the victory lane line and get to the, and just be able to get to the finish of this racing first. They'd love to be able to do that. The outside line, remember, it doesn't do very well early in these runs. It does way better later on in the run. So 110% horsepower kind of shows that it burns a lot of the tire up. And you can see Hutchinson's on the top, and he is not going anywhere. But he's got one of the best super speedway pushers in the business, the 97 of Lucas Hoisman, right on his tail. I don't expect to see these guys in the back for too long.
No, Hoytsman's had speed. He's been running up in the top 5 to 10 cars absolutely all night long. No exception right now. That car has been mad quick. It's led a bunch of laps. It's been in the top 3 a bunch, and I expect him to get back up there very soon. You can see the sparks flying. The inside lane, as it has been on many starts and restarts tonight, is dominant once again. Your top 6 cars all coming from the inside. That's Conklin back to Blake Giglio there in 6th. Ralph Hutchison in 7th. The leader of the outside lane is Hoyts was doing his best to get the push, but I think we're just at the point of the run where the inside is a little better. Blake Giglio moves up to use that line. We've seen him like the outside, but again, I think we're at the point in a tire run where these tires like the inside better, and then once we get about 15 down, it'll start to even out a little bit more.
I gotta say, these sparks are starting to get real entertaining to me. I love seeing how that happens. It's just bottoming out quite a bit, but that's how you drive these cars fast. They set these cars up as close as they can to perfect. One car decided to go to the shadow realm. Will he come back? Bobby Anderson in the 5. There he is. Oh, I don't know where'd he go. There. Wow. I can't say that on the broadcast. Okay. Okay, there you go. He fell back. Let's call it that way. Yeah, not fun for the 5 car. Lost a spot without having to do anything. Scary stuff.
Yeah, you never want to come back inside of another car. That is generally what I would call terrifying. Either for, well, really for both the driver and for everyone around him there. As these top 7 are still there. Ralph Hutchinson's still trying to get that outside lane going. I think he's just going to have to wait about 15 laps until this outside lane starts to switch back to dominance, and then he might be able to get something rolling, because right now, he just don't have it there on the inside lane at all. He's going to get some help. Nolan Hodgson will jump up. He'll try to create something. Blake Giglio will go with him. Matthew David Wood. A couple cars moving up the road. Will that help them, or will that just help Bobby Anderson, who's down here on the bottom? Let's find out.
You feel that right now? You feel that?
Everybody moving up.
It happened. There's a moment in every single restart where the outside line just automatically becomes the go-to. It happened right there. And now the outside line's the go-to. Giglio goes to the top, and that line he likes to use, he goes way up to the top. Will he try to get by Basin? He's got no real help there. 16's trying to get there. Top 3, the 12 of Nolan Hodgson, Basin, and Conklin, they're all teammates working together.
Ooh, David Wood gives a shot to Hodgson there, slides him up the road. That's a little risky because he's got Blake Giglio on the outside there, and things could have gone bad if that 12 wasn't able to keep the car under control. Hutchinson's now moving a little bit up through the field. He's now in 5th. We saw him running back 7th or 8th for much of this run as you see cars really starting to migrate up to the top now, but Matthew David Wood likes the bottom, likes the apron. He's going to try to keep it true. The issue is he just doesn't have anyone willing to help him. He's still got Bobby Anderson. He's still got Sean O'Brien down there, and Blake Giglio will try to get a run going from P3, but your leaders, Sean Conklin, Dylan Basin, Nolan Hodgson, have migrated up to the outside, and so far it feels like everyone wants to follow as Giglio is going to take a shot to the rear end, courtesy of Matthew David Wood.
I do not recommend shots that way, but everybody has their own methods. Here we go, 8 car. Oh man, 48 trying to dive down, a little bit crazy stuff, but I think that 08 car, looking at that one Giglio car, I think he has the top lane better than anybody. He's a loose on the bottom 2 lanes, but the moment he gets to the top, for some reason that car just sticks a little better than all the other cars. Running P4 right now. Matthew David Wood stuck on the bottom. He needs to have some help. He's going to need some help. But the top three are pretty much solidified. Conklin has good defense behind him. He's got his teammates right there able to help him out. Giglio, Hutchinson, Delaney, they got to come up with a plan to try and get past these three. They cannot do it alone. They got to work together.
Yeah, Matthew David Wood is going to need a little bit more help if he wants to get his way back up using that inside. I think this is the earliest we've seen the outside flip on a restart. Usually the inside is beneficial for about 10 or 15 laps straight off the rip, but this time only lasted about 5 or 6, and then the outside lane was immediately back into it. As, yeah, you can see the lights are on here in full force at Atlanta as it is under the lights for a nighttime finish. We are a 260 lap race. We got 90 to go. We've ran 172 here tonight.
One of my favorite things to say, night time's the right time, and whenever it hits nighttime, your car better be set up for it because the track will feel different in the night versus the day. That is very true. No matter what track you race on, nighttime versus daytime is very different. And right now, what I'm seeing is that these Ryko cars seem to be set up for the nighttime, and it's working out for him. His car's hit the wall that time. Giglio, who hit it pretty dang hard, and now what is Bobby Anderson going to do? He's going to have to push Matthew David Wood hard, trying to make that work. He's now going for third place. Wood's got a good run here.
Here comes Nolan Hodgson on the outside. David Wood had it for a moment, but he's dropped back, didn't have the run out of the corner. And Conklin running a little bit lower there. That could be giving some draft to Matthew David Wood. That could be helping his run through these corners. He really does not have it on the straightaway. He's in free fall down the straightaway every time, but he's been able to take some big chunks out of these corners and get big runs. This will be 3 wide here momentarily with Giglio and Hodgson going at it. David Wood, he'll get both of them. 2-for-1 special there for the 16 car to get himself up to third, and now Bobby Anderson will try to follow as Nolan Hodgson finds himself in the middle in no man's land, and he needs some help to get himself back stabilized as we're still 3 wide now with Sean O'Brien, the next car trying to pounce, and Nolan Hodgson. No friends. He'll finally find a hole, but he'll drop down 6 positions first.
I could say right now he got put in the sucker hole, and that's unfortunate for him. He was doing good. He had a good shot. Sucker hole sends him straight to the back. He'll have a little bit of recovery to be done, but now Matthew David Wood's got Giglio right on his tail, and Giglio and Matthew David Wood, we saw on the second stage, the 16 knows the 8 car's best move, which is going up to the top side, making it 3 wide. He defended it so well in stage 2. He's going to have a chance to do that again here. 16, I think that he needs to know to work together, but now the 8 goes up to the top again. 16's trying to defend it slightly, but I don't think he's going to get there. I think the 8 car almost got there. He got cut off, but he luckily made it, and now this big old run's coming. What are you going to do with it?
Matthew David Wood fighting hard for that spot as Giglio drops it to the inside. Maybe looking for the shorter run around the corner, but he didn't get the run he would have wanted because he had to back out pretty substantially there on entry to prevent that car from getting loose. As we're door-to-door behind him, Nolan Hodgson a little bit loose as he enters the corner, but everything stays good for him, and he'll be able to get a pretty good run going. He's looking to clear Delaney, can't do it. He doesn't really have any help in front of him. He's got O'Brien, he's got Hoytsma behind him, but he doesn't have anyone in front of that line, and that's really causing him the problems. He can get the runs into the corner, but he has not been able to get clear of Delaney yet, and he's got no one on the inside in front of him.
One of my favorite ways to watch this race is what we're doing right now. We're just able to see it more and more. Watching this track, the cars fly by, and the top 2 have just done a phenomenal job of maintaining, but they lost one of their teammates, Nolan Hodgson, out of the way. He's gone. And now Giglio moves up to P2 with that 88 car. The 19 Hutchinson, our pole center, he's also back up there too. But
by the way, lap car of Jose Medina here. Lap car of Jose Medina is about to get lapped, so this could throw a wrench into things with these side-by-side battles. As Medina's going to get lapped here, and he's in the wall. Got to stay off the wall. The 8 car loose trying to get around him. Scary moment here for a lot of cars as Jose Medina goes a lap down, and everybody has got to go scramble. We're going to go 4 wide here. This might not end well. Oh, 5 car into the side of him. Medina pushed into the wall, but somehow everybody sneaks their way through. That could have gone very, very wrong there for Bobby Anderson.
I like that. What a job. I feel bad for Bobby because he was having a good running position, but that killed his running spot. But man, 4 wide. That might be worth a photo a little later. We might zoom back to that and get a picture. That was pretty good. I always like that type of stuff. It's real talented whenever you're able to do that and not wreck. So hard to do it too because a lot of people panic. 8 car though, sitting P3, wants to do something. Remember, he's kind of new to this series, and he's trying to make it work. He gets runs, but the thing is he's got to know those 2 in front of him are teammates. He's going to need some help to get up to the outside, get a big run. And the 06 is lifting, and anytime he gets a run on his teammate, he just gives him the shot, pushes him down the road. It's great teamwork there.
And with 79 to go, time is really starting to run out. So if you're one of those cars who spent a lot of your race vibing at the back of the field, not really pushing too hard to get yourself up through it and get some positions, now's the time to start moving your way up through the field. As I say that, this is the next car up the road. It's the 67 of Lim up there, who is struggling right now. He's well off the pace, dropped it out. Oh, we're wrecking back in the field. That's exactly what he was hoping to dodge.
Yep.
As Alan Duggar has gone around.
And William Owens also involved. So is Tyler Hunter going for a slide. But it looks like maybe about 3 cars having huge damage. The rest of the cars able to avoid huge contact. Let's take a look at it. You can see right here going into turn 1 and 2. 10-car Duggar. What happens to him? He's on his own on the bottom. Looks fine, looks fine. No big deal. Oh, Gallimore hit the wall. Hit the 48. Truel got a correction there, not Gallimore. That was Truel who hit the wall. Came down, and he collected the 10, and just unfortunate for all cars involved.
Yeah, the 7 on that Truel does look a little bit like a 1 there, which would be the 11 of Gallimore. So we're going to see pit stops wholesale here. Sean Conklin in, and, well, it looks like everybody's in. I think we're going to see the whole field come down.
I would be surprised if that didn't happen. 60 car is going to stay out, though. He's going to take the wave around, I believe.
As I was saying, Jun Salim, who we saw on the screen there prior to that accident, was the one car who was still hanging back. Hanging back might have helped him dodge that accident. I think we're going to see him actually try to go for the lead now. As pit stops for literally everyone. Nobody stays out. 25 laps on this set of tires, 77 to go, and everybody wants to bring him. That is a wave around car right there. There's Jason Taylor getting himself the lucky dog, and I think it's a lucky dog there for Jason Taylor, but he'll get himself that, and everybody else will bring it down pit road. Let's see who wins the race off, because this is going to be interesting.
Looks like, according to my calculations, it looks like it's going to be...
A good jump from Giglio here.
17's going to get there, and then Hutchinson's going to gain a spot, I think. Hutchinson's going to beat Giglio out.
Yeah, Conklin, Basin, Hutchinson, Giglio, Hodgson, Delaney, Paul Hill, Nicholas Vroman, Matthew David Wood, Lucas Hoitzma in that order. There you go. We got it on the ticker for you.
Oh, good. Good. Now I can look at it. Here we go. Okay, now I know. No, come on now. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll get the final 74, 73 laps to go in this dang thing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back, Americans, Chinesemen, and all other nationalities. Welcome to NASCAR here at Echo Park. We got a lot of craziness going on here. I don't know why I picked those 2 nationalities. Just go with it. Here we go. Gotta tell you right now, Conklin, up front, Basin, P2, Giglio, Hutchinson, Delaney, we're back underway. Coming to get the final little run to the finish. Who knows? We might see Rex. I hope we don't get 4 red flags. We're gonna find out together.
Yeah, hey, at least we're going quicker than the real-life Xfinity race at Atlanta right now, as Sean Conklin will jump off to the lead, Dylan Basin to P2, Hutchison pretty clear to P3, and I think we're going to see the inside line once again be faster here for the opening few laps of this run with the fresh tires dominoing already there, cars stacking into each other one after the other, and we still got 74 to go, and already we're starting to see some aggression come out. Hutchison doing as he did on the last run immediately after a restart, and just jumping up to the top and staying there. This time he's pushed by Delaney and Vroman, who are going to try to convert that high line into the faster line pretty quickly here.
We'll see if it works out for him. Big pushes going from the top 2, too. They're kind of tandem pushing a little bit. The longer this goes, the more we'll be able to see whose cars are going to be up towards the front at the end of this thing. I think that the folks that are up front now are going to be the ones, but I don't like this feeling I'm getting in my gut. I'm just going to say that. Here comes Giglio to the bottom for P2. He's got to run. He's now going for the lead. He's down underneath the 17. He's got help from Paul Hill. This is going to be the battle for the lead and possibly the win, or at least control the race.
I was interested that the 17 and the 60 jumped up to the outside lane so early there. Giglio almost doors the 17 car. I think he had to back out a little bit. That hurt his run. The 26 of Paul Hill gives him a shot, but it's the 17 of Sean Conklin. Clear in the points by 300 over second place, and he's going to try to get yet another win on the season here tonight at Hotlanta, as he is out here in front of the field with Dylan Basin second, Nolan Hodgson third, and immediately we've seen the advantage that inside lane gets you on the restarts get slower and slower with time until nowadays it's almost non-existent at all here coming down to the end of this one.
Well, same thing we saw earlier. Top 3 are all Ryco camp, all working together. It worked out. And the bottom line's starting to die out very early in this run. Outside line seems to be the dominant one. Whatever line those top 3 cars choose end up being probably the best line you can get into.
Yeah, right now the outside is pretty clearly faster right now, as Giglio was trying to get up to the lead there on the inside, and he very quickly is not anymore. Right now he's just trying to hold on to P6. No matter how much Paul Hill pushes in the inside lane, just doesn't have it right now. Conklin will drop down a little bit. He loves to run. Even while he's on the high line, he loves to run a little bit lower than everybody else through the corners, and you've seen him do it there. That could be giving a little bit of a draft to Paul Hill, to Blake Giglio, to keep them in this race, but for now, they're not really able to do it. Giglio will get a run. He'll jump up in line here, so he'll get around Hutchison, take 4th, and now it's going to be Paul Hill leading the inside line, which is, I think, is just progressively becoming more and more out to sea as this top 5 in the inside runs pretty clear. Rob Hutchison just needs to close this up there and make sure he can stay in front of Paul Hill. He doesn't want to give that car any opportunities to jump it up.
And I'm noticing one thing and one thing only about this race, which is that we get single file for a short period of time. Very short. And then at that point, it depends on who's leading. That single file can get chaotic, like the 8 car. Right now, sending it way up to the outside, trying to get around the 12 car. Not going to work out that time. And I think I'm noticing that whenever the 8 goes up to the very top, the 06 and the 17 dive down to the bottom, try and make sure that 8 car gets no draft whatsoever. And it's not going to work when you don't get any drafts. So it only works up to a certain point. Not quite there, as they're still side by side further back in the field. See Vroman there stuck in the box. You see Benefield stuck in the box. Matthew David Wood can't go anywhere. These guys are just stuck. They wish they can get up front, but it's surprising.
And we are single file for the top 6 now. It's a really big run for Hutchison and Delaney up there. Those two cars have been continuing to work that outside lane here for a while, and they're trying to make it work right now. Paul Hill is just kind of stranded back here in this 5th, 6th area. Doesn't really have anywhere else he can go with it. He'll finally jump up into the top line, and now Delaney, role reversal, is going to cut that thing back down to the bottom with Hutchison and Paul Hill back there as well. So Jonathan Delaney wants to give the inside a shot. Not sure how well it's going to work with him. He's got Matthew David Wood working with him, but pretty much no one else at the moment.
Goes to show Delaney's got some front end damage on the left front. Something happened to Delaney. Maybe a bad push gone awry, but he's still hanging on to it. It's going to affect his race car. He's going to have some turn issues later in the run. That might not help him go for the win.
Yeah, I mean, you can see some damage on the left rear of that car and the left front of that car. So basically the whole left side has some pretty substantial damage there for Jonathan Delaney, as he is getting a run here. So even though he has that damage, maybe not being hurt by it as much as we would think, because he does seem to have a bit of momentum. And Sean Conklin will cut down to the inside here through the corner. That will help Delaney. He'll cut back up to the top. Conklin trying to play both lines here with Basin and Delaney now side by side for P2. And that's going to make Conklin's job of blocking quite a bit harder if Delaney's able to mount a real challenge up here for second.
Well, not for long. Contact. There goes Delaney. He spins through the grass. He tries to correct it. He saves the car. It's still spinning. Was he able to avoid the wall? Barely. He does, staying green. Side by side door contact with Basin sends him around.
Well, he's got damage already. Now he might have a little more, and he's going to be all the way by himself at the back of the field. We'll get a replay of it here as they headed into the tri-oval here on the front straightaway. Or I guess the quad oval here on the front straightaway. It was Delaney getting in to Hodgson there.
Hodgson.
There you go.
Yeah, correction there on my part. Hodgson not at all Basin there. So Hodgson door-to-door contact. 6 car is going to be praying for a caution. He needs one.
Single file once more. So that run Delaney was trying to mount has kind of fizzled out there as soon as he got out of that line. So it's your top 5 clear up here on the top. Now top 6 as Paul Hill has made his way up on that high side to P6. Matthew David Wood back in 7th as that next car around. And then you've got Vroman, Mesnard, and right now Hunter Truex rounding out your top 10.
Oh, man. Giglio had himself one heck of a run built. He was going to get to the outside of Robinson, but just did not get enough to get there, unfortunately. I'm trying to see where the big story is. And I'm looking here in this top 10, and I see one car that is a big story in my book. Evan Mesnard, who got his first ever pole just a handful of races ago, that 73 car. He got his first pole at Michigan. And he's, top down, there goes the 12th car, he's wrecked. 6 cars, Giglio's involved, 26 is around. Still green, no caution, big crash, they correct each other. Caution is finally out. 29, Tanner Marty, the 41 of Andrew Dyson, 12th car, Nolan Hodgson, and Giglio also involved. Thomas Kulmacheski, Williams involved, June Salim. The big one happens off turn 2.
Well, there were 2 separate accidents, because after that 8 car went around, Andrew Dyson wrecked into Tanner Marty and Nolan Hodgson as well. We had 2 separate wrecks there.
I don't know if I like that. Oh, boy. I do not like that one bit. Yeah, I'll look at that one more time from high above. Sure. We're going to look at the 67 first. Let's see how he ended up getting through this, or how he was involved. You're going to see some smoke up ahead. And when you see smoke, hit the brake. That's always my first reaction. This is not his. Unfortunately, contact with the 98. Goes back up the hill. Slides into the outside wall. Unfortunate for him. more cars involved here, but one car I want to look at is that 12 car from High Buff. Can we look at the 12 one more time? Here we go. So he's got his 2 teammates in front of him. He's got the 8 right behind. 8's building a run here. He backs up to the 19. 8 car's going to get a huge run going into this corner. He's going to try and go to the top. 12 goes up there to block. 8's up there. 12 gets up there a little bit, gets a little loose from the contact, and that's it. So defensive driving that ends up taking the 12 car out of the race, and it's nothing he did wrong. He just tried to be a little defensive, and unfortunately 8 car wasn't going to give him any slack. He was up on the top, and he wanted to use it, and slight contact got the car loose. So racing incident there. I hate to see it, but definitely puts a shake in how this field runs. Look at the new 3rd place. Roman's up there now. You got Hutchinson P3. And more cars like Mesnard, Casey Graves back up into the top 10. Paul Gallimore's just sitting on the top 10 as well. Hunter Truel in the 71, also having a good day.
And there's going to be 57 to go. I wonder if we're going to see pit stops here now that we are within the window for cars to make it to the end. 70 is about the most we've seen anyone go. We're at 57 now, and I think we're going to see
you got to pit.
Everyone in pretty much.
You cannot stay out. That is the truth of the matter. If you stay out, it is a giant mistake. You got to pit here. So everybody does, just like you're expecting. Now, winning the race off pit road, that's another story. We're going to have to find out how that goes. Top 2, they got to just have perfect pit stops. No problems. But you got Roman there. Roman's been really good at getting good pit stops all year long. He's P4 right now. He's been able to jump multiple cars at other tracks due to him being able to know how to get on pit road and use those mechanics to the best of his ability. It might work out for him in this case. Let's see what happens here with the 95. 17 goes into his box just fine.
And this is going to come down to who wins the race off pit road. Maybe a little less important as on other tracks because you do have the drafting nature of this one. But if you get out first or second, you are still in a very, very advantageous position. So we'll see who's able to come out first here. This is going to be interesting. Well, we got one car maybe just driving through the pit lane there.
He must have missed his pit box. I'm
Hunter
going back
Truel.
and looking.
Hunter Truel, fuel only for Hunter Truel. So he is on his own program as everybody else will come down for 4.
Roman jumped Hutchinson there on the pylon. So again, able to use his pit stop prowess. Somehow gets racing RNG that just help him out. Gets fast pit stops all the time from that 95. I don't know how he does it every time. So according to what our statistics say from our producer, 15-second bracket for Hutchinson, a slow pit stop for him, loses 1 spot. So it ends up reinforcing the fact that Roman having a decent stop could he still even give him an extra spot on the racetrack. But Truel, what a position he's in. You know what? I don't normally do this with people who've made like an interesting decision. We're going to find out. I'm going to bring him up here. He's from True War Motor Club. Let me see if we can't bring him up here. I'd like to talk to him. Hunter Truel, Kirk Mills up here in the booth. Got a copy?
I got you.
I got to tell you, man, you got yourself a pair of cojones up there. Tell me, what's this move for, and do you think it's going to work out for you?
We'll see. I only got 1 set of tires left in the pit, so I figure if I can hold top 15 here and then they all pile up with 15 to go or 20 to go, I'll throw those tires on and scoot to the front, but we'll see.
I see. So that's the story. We got only one set of tires in the pits. That's why then.
Yeah. I pit, half of us do, half of us don't. I pit there between one of the stages and grabbed that set of tires, just the way it worked out.
Well, anyway, man, we wish you the best of luck. You got a lot of fast cars right there with you, so do your best, man. We're rooting for you.
Oh, I will. I'll try. Thanks.
Yep, you got it, buddy. Okay, we heard it there first. Now we know. These guys are running low on tires.
Yep. I think Nicholas Vroman, Matthew David Wood, Hutchison, Hoytsma all definitely have at least 1 set left in the pits. It's going to get a little more interesting with Gallimore with Graves, potentially. Okay. So they all likely have a set left as well. Dylan Basin, I think, could be out of time. See how that worked out for the 6 car. Basin, Jason
Oh,
Taylor,
look at Vroman.
Tanner
Vroman's
Marty,
leaning
William
on him.
Owens.
Look at Vroman. He was rubbing with the 17 car there, coming to the restart zone. I think he knows what's on the line here. You got to go aggressive here. Great restart from the 71. Vroman as well.
Well, the 17 is Sean Conklin with kind of an uncharacteristically rough restart there. Usually he's pretty good on these starts. He's good at getting jumps. Not a great one right there. He'll have to draft his way right back up to Hunter Truex, which is very easy to do at a track like Atlanta. Pushing the pusher a little bit there for Dylan Basin. He's getting aggressive behind.
Into turns 3 and 4. First time at speed this last restart. 71's able to hold the bottom, doing really good at it. Oh, now 17's looking to the top. This is when you really got to be careful here. Side by side for the lead. You see Conklin on the top, Truex on the bottom, trying all he can.
We saw it earlier in the race where old tires can seem to hold on for about 2 or 3 laps, but any longer than that and they start to fade pretty quickly. Truex right now holding on, gets into the door of Nicholas Vroman there. They keep it straight, but these tires very clearly starting to go, and I think Dylan Basin might look for an alternative way around. Yes, he will. Into the side of Hoytsma there for Dylan Basin as he's getting creative, trying to find his way through the middle to get his way around that car. I don't think anyone really wants to be stuck behind Truex on old tires here. As Hutchison now to the middle too, and we'll see some more cars like Alan Duggar, like Adam Benefield jump up to the middle lane to try to get around it, but this is a tight 3 wide, and Truex up the racetrack, struggling on that older rubber.
17 was able to inherit the lead there. And now Vroman's getting a huge shot. He's going to be going for the lead here. No, here comes the 06. And 17 is using him as a pick. Now the 06 is going to slide up in front of his teammate, and they're back 1-2 again.
And here's
Not
Ralph
quite
Hutchison.
yet.
He's going to give him the shot back here as well. So he's got Hutchison and Hoytsma giving him help down here on the bottom, as we're pretty much even here through these top 2 lanes of cars, with Basin and Conklin and Vroman behind, along with Hutchison pushing at the moment.
Hey, I heard a long time ago, if you got 2 teammates control both lines, you can control the whole pace. That's good. That's awesome. Great teamwork coming from the top 2. Rest of the field, though, they're in a stuck position. They got to try something different. That third lane looks ultra attractive right now.
Yeah, if you're a car a little bit deeper in this field, and if you're running on the top, see maybe a Benefield, see maybe an David Wood back here as well. Could be worth a shot to try to jump that car up to try to get around these RFK drivers who are up front holding 1-2. As we're 3 wide deeper in the field here. Taylor, Mesnard, Delaney going at it. How about Jason Taylor? We've seen him down and out and everywhere, and he's here in 14th, now coming down with 50 to go.
And that 3 wide stuff scares me, man. I tell you that. Just one little bobble's all it takes. And the 71's on the bottom, too. That's not going to help at all. 71's real tight. And so 16's off the pace a little bit, too. He's going to have to get a shot. Huge checkups all throughout this little group here. People trying every line. 6 cars door banging with the 73 of Mesnard. Not quite helping him out. Back to 2 wide, it looks like, up front.
Yeah, those RFK cars are doing a pretty good job of controlling the pace at the moment, but Ralph Hutchison will get his way through as Basin will jump up to the high side. He'll get clear of Sean Conklin, so they're going to go nose to tail up at the front of the field, and now it's Ralph Hutchison, Lucas Hoytsma, your 2 lead cars on the bottom, with Nicholas Vroman behind that 2-car line up top, and we'll see if Hutchison is able to get a run. Looks like he has one here, but he's just not getting the help from Hoytsma. Conklin is glued to the rear bumper there of Dylan Basin, and that's helping these cars out. But there is some very clear speed with a 19 of Ralph Hutchison right here.
Yeah, that's why he got the pole. I mean, he's that fast. He can do it. He just needs to get a good run here, good help, and they cannot let those top 2 get single file, because if you do, it's so hard to pass. We heard it yesterday in the Friday Night Lights series. They said once you get the top 2 single file, it's so hard to catch him. And it's still side by side for second, so there's still some hope for the rest of the field right now. But that might not last long. 19's pushing tight. Leaning up on the 17, a little bit of side draft. That opens a little bit of a 1-car gap from second to first. Closing quickly.
Yeah, and those top 2 for RFK are now clear of the field. I wonder if they're going to try to play both lines again, or if they're both going to pull down. They can't right now because Ralph Hutchison has got another run up there to the inside. But if they could get clear Oh, you got to wonder if they're just going to hold tight on the high side. And here you go. The 60 is going to move down, or the 06. Dylan Basin drops down, shoots it back up. Similar line to what Sean Conklin was running up earlier in the field when Conklin was dropping it down and then coming back up through the corners.
Trying to cool down the car is all I could say. Interesting stuff right there. But Benefield, though, has been kind of surprising me the last few laps. He's going to be up to possibly 4th or 5th place spot any moment now. He's already there, 4th car on the outside line, that 83. He's one of my favorites. He's out there. He's fast. He's good. He has a interesting way of going about things, and he just moved up to the outside line. 19 Hutchinson right in front of him. Maybe they can work together.
And here's Paul Hill. He's going to try to make a 3rd lane work, and he's all alone up there at the moment, trying to go 3 wide with Sean O'Brien and Evan Mesnard here just outside the top 10. Doesn't really look like it's working out for him right now as he scrapes the wall down on entry to turn 3, but he is certainly giving it a run up high, and now we're going to go 3 wide again with Casey Graves in trouble on the top. Another bounce off the wall for Paul Hill there as he kind of got stuck behind a slow 0-1 car of Casey Graves. He's in the wall again, nearly into Mesnard there. That was a 73 car. I'd be giving Hill a little bit more space because he's hit that wall a couple times now.
We're showing the back here of the field. The top 4 have really gotten single filed out, except for, guess what? Guess who's recovered so well? It's the 6 car Delaney. He's moved up to P3. The 6 car we saw spinning through the grass before that last caution. He got his caution. He's back in the race. Now back to P3.
And that was a fantastic move to get around Nicholas Vroman right now. He was pretty deep back in the field. Did a good job to get his way up to P3 with that run on the inside. And we're going to go 3 wide back here around 10th with Duggar, with Bobby Anderson, and with Matthew David Wood, who's trapped in that middle line and has lost multiple spots going from 7th back to 10th here. He's going to try to get ahead of Casey Graves, who bounces it off the wall once again. That car is having some problems on the high side. But David Wood just with very little help down here on the inside. It's just Mesnard, Duggar, and that's about it. He hasn't really been able to get clear of Graves or anyone yet, no matter how well he runs on the inside. Loose after contact with Hoytsma there. Going to be a little more careful with 40 to go.
Not a lot of time to make decisions on where you want to be. I think right now you got to be in the top 10 to really have a good shot. So if you're outside that top 10, you got to start making crazy moves now. This is your only real shot you got. Basin would love to get another win. He doesn't win that often, but he has won here a couple times. And he runs well. He's really fast. He just hasn't necessarily had as many wins as his teammate relatively. Remember, his teammate had 8. So just a few versus 8. No matter what you look at, he'd love to get another one on that board. And he's leading right now. So there's still 3 wide back in the back of the field. Craziness going on mid-pack.
The old quote to finish first you must finish, is very, very true here tonight at Atlanta, because this race is only going to get crazier. As we go through the final 38 laps, you're going to see more drama, you're going to see more action, you're going to see more cars trying to create a second lane and create a run for themselves. But if you want to win this race, you've got to be there at the end of this race first, and that's something I think some of these cars up front are maybe taking to heart right now as they go single file up here in front of the field, not really pushing anybody too hard. They want to make it. They want to be up here running in the top 5 with 10 to go, and once you get to that point in the race, then all bets are off, and then you can drive like a madman for the last 10.
I mean, what can they do? I mean, if you're not the 17, if you're not the 06, if you're the 6 car, the 95, the 19, what can you do to actually get by the 17 and the 06, who have, by all intents and purposes, dominated the last run of this race?
You're just going to have to find some friends, and you're going to have to find a run. I'd be on voice chat right now. I'd be messaging people if I could on my other monitor, and I'd be trying to see who is willing to work with me, who's willing to give me a push to get around these 2 teammates who are dominant up front.
Got some sort of politics going on in the background. Oh, man. But these guys back here, Paul Hill, Sean O'Brien, Duggar, Matthew David Wood, these guys are in kind of a different position. They're just trying to get all they can get. One spot matters a whole lot to them. But if you're one of the top 6 cars, trying to win this race is going to be very difficult based on what I'm seeing, unless your name is Conklin or Basin.
It's 3 wide once again here with Casey Graves, Matthew David Wood, Paul Hill, the same area that we've been seeing 3 wide for a while here. Cars a little bit deeper in the field. Looks like just outside of the top 10, maybe just at the back of the top 10, are a little bit more willing to get aggressive. I think they're feeling the time start to run out with 34 to go and realizing that they still got some work to do to get up into the positions where they can maybe mount a charge in the final few laps to win this race. So these cars back here really starting to get aggressive to try to make up some time. It's Paul Hill, 26 especially, he's trying to dive it on the inside here pretty much every time down into the corner just to get whatever he can.
Okay. Can we go on board with the 6 car for a lap? Oh, there they go. Round and round in the back straightaway. Cars going sideways. There goes the Sean O'Brien machine in the 65 going around. Caution's going to come out. And it looks like Gallimore, the 5 car, the 67. William Owens DQ'd out of the race. And big damage for the 65. Let's see what the heck happened here on the back straightaway.
Well, I said Casey Graves had been slow. I said Casey Graves had been getting loose, and that's ultimately what's going to start this accident. It's Casey Graves getting loose, checks up Matthew David Wood. David Wood checks up, gets slammed in the back of by Bobby Anderson, and it just spirals from there. He collects a couple cars. He collects Sean O'Brien. He collects Evan Mesnard and a few others as a result of that one. William Owens might have gotten DQ'd a little earlier. Yeah, he got tagged down on the inside there. He got tagged by the 5 as the 5 was trying to keep it straight.
These moments happen in racing. It's unfortunate. Just a little bit of loose checkup. You never know. Remember, if we go on board with the 5, it'll probably just show up out of nowhere. He probably didn't even see the checkup develop till it was too late. If we do that, again, one of my favorite things to see is how people react to moments like that. See Bobby Anderson. When you look out the front of that car, you only see the car in front of you. You don't see what's happening 3 cars in front. You only see that one. And
by the way,
right here, he gets loose, and too big of a checkup is all. And what we're going to say, Scott?
Everybody's in the pits right now. Every single car. All of them. We're going to get a wave around for Jose Medina, but everybody else is in the pits here. And we'll see if it's 2, we'll see if it's 4, we'll see if it's fuel only. I think we're going to see maybe a couple different strategies here.
Oh, Jose Medina getting the lucky dog 18 laps down.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
As race out of the pits, oh, this is going to be tight. It's going to be Basin, Delaney, and Sean Conklin. So a spot jump there for Delaney.
Well, now here's the deal. No matter what, that 06 is going to pick the lane with his teammate in it. He's going to talk to his teammate, figure out what lane it is. He's going to pick the bottom. All right, with where that car is, he's going to run the bottom. So 30 laps to go. We're going to get this restart here with 29 or something to go. Please go ahead, stick around. We're going to take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll get the final 30 lap stint to the end of this thing. Chaos is going to ensue. Stick around.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
The conclusion of the full-length Cup Challenge from Echo Park Speedway is about to occur. Pace car on pit road. We're going to get the green flag with 29 laps to go here. Look at your front row. 2 teammates on the bottom, Vroman and Delaney on the top. Terrible restart there from the 6. Bottom 2 are able to clear, and guess what? Teammates now dominating the front area of this race.
And that's going to be the 6 immediately just choosing to drop back into 3rd instead of running that outside lane. He thinks his best chance to get the win here is to try and get a draft off Basin and Conklin, and if nothing else, it's at least going to keep him up here steady in front of the field. Hutchison as well as Vroman are now going to go at it. Vroman, the car leading that top lane at the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to make any enemies this close to the chase, so, maybe not anything crazy is what I'm thinking in my mind, but you never know what's going to happen here with the Full-Length Cup Challenge. They never cease to surprise me when we go racing with the Full-Length Cup Challenge, guys. All them sparks flying everywhere, fresh tires, good pushes. Here comes the 6 to the outside with a push from the 19 of Hutchinson. He's got a run on the outside, going for the lead. The 06 goes up, gives them a little bit of a rub. The 17 losing ground, the 06 losing ground. Guess what, folks? New top 2. It is Delaney and Hutchinson. And now Hoytsma's made his way to 3rd.
And the RFK dominance has been interrupted here by a great run from Jonathan Delaney and Ralph Hutchison, and they'll go 1-2 down the back straightaway. Lucas Hoytsma, who we saw lead much of the early part of this race, your stage 1 winner, trying to get back up there to contend with the race on the line. But don't count these RFK cars out just yet. They've got a big run. The 60 fake slow goes high, and he'll be side by side being pushed by Conklin as Delaney has no help behind him, and it's RFK back to 1 and 2.
I saw that coming from a mile and a half away. Good Lord. Guys, look in the mirror. You'll see it. All right. Look right there. 06-17 leading the thing back again. And now it's going to be so hard to get by the moment they're up to speed and they're on the top lane. Practically really difficult to pass. All right, folks. So now you got Duggar, who hasn't been in the top 10 that much this afternoon, pushing the 6 car Delaney. And it looks like Hoytsma, one of the better super speedway guys we got in the series, up there on the top trying to push Hutchinson. He's gone. Never mind. He just vanished. Where did he go? There he is. He's back. Huge checkup outside line. Be ready for it. Yep, 97 got shoved up to the outside. 3 wide because of that little blink.
And Hoytsma's going to get shuffled all the way out, shuffled into the wall, nearly wrecking there after contact with Adam Benefield, but he keeps it straight. He's going to need some draft to get back in front of that car. Luckily, he will. And Hoytsma now moving up there on the high side, but he's going to need a little bit more help if he is going to make that 3rd lane work with 24 to go. If there's a time to see a 3rd lane develop, this might be it, as we're getting a little bit squirrely behind him with Vroman and Duggar and Adam Benefield in that line. Man, this is going to get wild down here at the end. Vroman trying to shoot the gap through the middle as we're 3 wide behind your top 3 of Basin, Conklin, and Delaney.
Look at Jedi Taylor coming out of nowhere, getting into the top 10. He was multiple laps down. He was wrecked a couple times, but nah, he's had enough time to recover, get back into the top 10 spot. But he's middle on the bottom, 3 wide, and you never know what could happen at the end of these things. Stay careful. All this can go away in one moment. Huge checkup on the outside. Matthew David Wood losing ground. And now the top 4 or 5 have started to scoot out to a big old lead.
And this has been a big drive back up through the field here from 60 of Jason Taylor. He was down and out of it for much of this race, towards the back, involved in accidents, but he's turned it all on. Has that car in the top 10, right where he needs to be. Big swerve to the inside there for Stephen Williams, had a problem down the back straightaway. He caught that car. He's still running in 13th. Believe we had Matthew David Wood maybe into the side of that car. So there's a big checkup now on the outside, and that will allow Stephen Williams to get a couple more spots there.
8 car hit the wall pretty dang good right there. He's going to have to take a little bit of time to recover. Hopefully that car's still able to run decent. He goes down to the bottom. He's got turned in. Oh, there goes Gallimore into the wall. He gets the outside wall big time. Casey Gray's around. There's Evan Mesnard.
Evan Mesnard spinning now down to the grass. Still no caution, by the way. We're still green. Despite the 11 car just limping around the racetrack. Gallimore has to be done. That car's total. And this has spread out a lot of cars here as we see the replay. Graves, and it looks like June Salim, Jose Medina, Kolocheski, O'Brien, Giglio, they've all lost the draft here.
Look at the lead, though, right now. We got to get up here in a second. That's just net code between 73 and the 11. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Back up at the front, side by side for the lead. Guess what? Delaney has caught the side draft of the 06 and the 17. He's got help with Hoytsma, one of the better pushers. 06 goes down the block, the bottom lane.
Ooh, Conklin's running them really tight there. He is giving that 6 of Delaney no room to breathe. Conklin really wants to minimize his exit off the corner, wants to hold that car as close to the apron as he physically can. And he's getting real close to it. He'll move up a little bit more there because he wants to be in the draft of his teammate, Dylan Basin. And with no real help behind Delaney here, a bit of separation on that inside line. That'll be what it is. Paul Hill around in the middle of the pack. He'll save it. Can Williams save it? Somehow the answer is yes. He's still loose. This will separate the pack big time, but it'll avoid a wreck and we'll stay green. We're going to see some cars lose the draft as a result of this.
All I can say is that those cars are just making some moves that aren't necessarily the best in the world. Vroman's able to take over P3. Hoytsman's losing spots. He's back to 5th, now 6th. He'll have to follow in behind Matthew David Wood, it looks like. Single file as that happened. Chaotic stuff happening up front, but single file is now the name of the game throughout the entire front pack. No one is side by side until now. Vroman shoots to the bottom, trying to go for the lead.
I think everybody might have actually stayed in the draft here. It's just going to take him a second to close back in because Hunter Truel was the last car who was in the lead pack before that happened, and he's barely hanging on to the back of the line as we are getting some side-by-side battles here up front. Oh, the 6 of Delaney looking all the way to the top side, and he's going to force the 17 of Conklin down to the bottom with 16 to go. This is going to be all out here to the finish. You're going to see no holds barred as the 6 of Jonathan Delaney continues to make the high side work, continues to run all the way up as we're 3 wide, exiting the corner with Conklin and Vroman and Matthew David Wood in the wall back here as well.
I can tell you right now, this is going to be the money style. They're going to be racing so dang hard for the next 15 laps. What it's all about. You got Delaney right there. He tried to get by the 17. It worked out for him. And now 17's going to have to help the car pass his teammate. Will he be able to do it? No, he's top 3 wide. He's going to get shuffled out if he's not careful.
And Delaney is all by himself there up on the top now as the 3 wide behind him is slowed Sean Conklin up. It's slowed Lucas Hoytsma up as they're doing battle for that position there for P4. Hoytsma's going to try to get after it here with Sean Conklin up on the outside line as we're still 3 wide with Adam Benefield continuing to roll that inside line, dooring each other. Are Vroman and Delaney there exiting the corner? And Dylan Basin is liking what he's seeing behind him, but he's going to have to defend about 2 or 3 different lines once these cars actually get enough of a run to get up to the back of him. With 14 to go, it is anybody's game. Hoytsma, Conklin, Matthew David Wood, and Adam Benefield are all going to go after it here because they all want to grab a win at Atlanta.
I can tell you right now, that was not necessarily the best move. Delaney tries to get up and clear. No, now the teammates are back together, and that bottom lane's going to dissolve. And just like that, with 17 in the 06 back up front, they masterclassed that. They manipulated all the other cars. They waited for the right time to make it happen, and it worked out in their favor. Look at the big gap they're developing because of that. 12 laps to go in this race, and they did all they had to do to keep up front and more. I mean, they convinced the other drivers to make moves that they wanted them to make, and it worked out in their favor.
And with 12 to go, Hoytsma is going to be the next contender up here as he's got a move going to second. Leader of the inside line now with Sean Conklin pushed up to the outside, and Delaney is going to try to work with Hoytsma down here on the bottom as Matthew David Wood wants to follow these RFK cars. He's running up third on the outside line. There's Paul Hill in this as well, but Delaney and Hoytsma are going to be the two main threats down here on the bottom, and we'll see if David Wood can get in. I think he wanted to get in there, but he ultimately couldn't do it. Hoytsma will now get in line, pushing Conklin hard into the back of Dylan Basin, and those three are going to get a little bit of separation here with 10 to go.
Side draft working out for the 97, ended up slowing them down. The 06, though, able to hang on to the lead, but for how long? Here comes the 97, closing in on it, closes the door, and now the 97's got dirty air on the nose. He's trying to use that draft to his help, but guess what? He's going to have no help down the back straightaway. The 97 might be losing a lot of ground here. No, the 6 gives him a little shot, keeping him there. Into 3 and 4. No help for the 97. Delaney's not helping.
And Matthew David Wood, I think he scraped the wall back there, running all the way up in that third lane, and he'll lose quite a few positions with Benefiel and Vroman. And it looks like Paul Hill as well getting around him there on the bottom. That car is still 3 wide, and it's gone from 3 wide for third back to 3 wide for P6 here off the corner.
Explicit. Explicit. Very much what we're looking for here. Single file, and these guys are trying to navigate the traffic as best as they can. And I can just tell you right now, I can't tell you who's going to win, but I can tell you a good guess. It's probably going to be someone in our top 5. It'd be surprising if anybody outside the top 5 can make a run right now. 8 laps to go. You don't got a lot of time. Look at the 6 car diving up to the outside of the 17, though. He's got a good old run. 17's got no help.
No, he doesn't. Jonathan Delaney's got the move there with Lucas Hoytsma with a push, and Delaney with a slide down to the inside lane. He'll get well clear of Dylan Basin. What a move from Jonathan Delaney to put himself up in front of the field here with 7 laps to go in Atlanta.
All right. This is what we're all came and stayed for. Through turns 1 and 2 again. Going to get 6.5 laps to go when they go down the back straightaway. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Now, here's a run. 17 and the 06, 2 teammates, going to be side by side. 97's trying to go up to make it 3 wide. He is 3 wide. He's going to be up top. Look at lap traffic, though. Here comes Evan Mesnard. Look out.
Yeah, they're going to have to get around him, so they can't be 3 wide when they get around that lap car, or else they're going to have a big problem like they did with Medina earlier. Hoytsma will have to go down to the inside. Sean Conklin tries to move him up the road a little bit. Both cars are loose. Matthew David Wood is loose now going down the back straightaway. With Mesnard up there on the high side, Paul Hill and Nicholas Vroman trying to split the middle back here. And we're side by side all behind these cars, all cars trying to pass Mesnard, who lost the draft there in one of those earlier accidents. Hoytsma side by side with Conklin, who's going to get the push from Basin. And we've got another lap car, Casey Graves, up the road. That sends Delaney down to the bottom, and now Conklin and Basin will be able to draft with Delaney car hard in the wall back there. As we stay green, that's Tanner Marty wrecking with Casey Graves.
They're keeping it green, no caution yet. This is the battle for the win up front. You see Delaney trying to go up and block the 17. He's got it still. 17's trying to go to the outside. He's there. He's going to be up on the outside. 6 car has nothing to do. He's got to door him. He doored him. Going into the corner, and the 97 goes with the 6 and not the 17. Delaney tries to hang on to this lead. Hoytsma finally goes down to the bottom. He's got Paul Hill there, right on his 6. This ain't over yet. Anything can happen. 26 goes up the block. The 06. And it's now side by side for second.
It's going to be 3 to go at the line this time around. Only 4.5 more miles here from Atlanta, and everything still left to play for as Hoytsma and Conklin doorbang each other here down the front straightaway. They can't get rid of each other. They can't get rid of Dylan Basin, Paul Hill, all of these cars that have hung around all race long and are now here when it matters the most. With 3 laps to go, it's a big push courtesy of Paul Hill. Basin loses it. Conklin drops down to the inside. He's going to draft up behind Jonathan Delaney here, and he's going to try to force himself into P2. Not going to happen for the 17 car. Hoytsma holds strong as Jonathan Delaney stays out front with 2 laps to go here in Atlanta. Lucas Hoytsma still behind Jonathan Delaney, and Paul Hill, who hasn't led the race yet but has been steadily staying back here in P4. He is going to have the run up here in the outside lane. Will it be Delaney? Will it be Hoytsma? Will it be Hill, Vroman, or even one of the RFK cars? We're coming down to the white flag here as we roll through 3 and 4.
For the final time out of turn number 4, Jonathan Delaney leading the way. Hoytsma P2 side by side for third. Paul Hill and the 17 of Conklin Conklin, who had dominated most of the day, but what is the 97 going to be willing to do, trying to get his first win of the season? He's side by side with Conklin. Conklin on the bottom, big run. Side draft down the back straightaway for the final time. Leaning on the door, 26 gives a huge jump. Here comes Hoytsma to the bottom, sliding it in there. Oh, slide job. He tries to move the 6 up the hill. 17 with the run. And Lucas Hoytsma is going to come off turn 4. They're 3 wide. Side by side. Oh, they wreck. And across the line, it's Dylan Basin winning the race across the line.
And Paul Hill got DQ'd there. Wow.
All right.
Hoytsma.
I cannot believe what I just saw. And it
backwards across the line for P2. And Dylan Basin was 6th with the white flag, and he'll win the race.
I can't believe what I just saw. Out of turn 4, let's take a look at this again. The 06 is what we're going to look at, folks. He's running right now when he crossed the stripe the last time by, like you said, P6. He's on the bottom working with his teammate, trying to get moving forward. Hoytsma gets the run of the dang century. Goes down to the bottom, trying to get the win. He goes down on Delaney. Delaney can't do anything about it, leaning on him. Contact, 17's there. 17's going to give him a shot here. Gets him a little loose, and the 17, during the 6 car, 17 goes down and turns the 97 out into the outside wall, sending all 3 of them into the wall, ruining their chances to win as Basin crosses the line, his teammate to win.
Well, 17 was going all out for that win there.
I don't like that at all.
I think he ended up hurting himself there because he would have at worst finished 2nd, and he's going to come across the line. P7 there, P6.
It worked out for his team, though.
Yep.
Let's take a look at our top 10 finishers here. Basin gets the win. Hoytsma, P2. Matthew David Wood, good top 3 for both those 2 drivers there. Unfortunate. And again, photo finish, not going away. Lucas Hoytsma again. This is the 2nd time he's finished 2nd in a photo finish. You got Nicholas Vroman, P4. Bobby Anderson with a great top 5 for the league owner. Sean Conklin with the crazy move there at the end, ends up 6th. 7th, Jonathan Delaney in the 6th. 8th, Adam Benefield comes home. In that spot, 9th will be Ralph Hutchinson and Alan Duggar, your top 10.
And finishing back from there in 11 tonight, it's Stephen Williams, Corey Moore, Hunter Truel, Jason Taylor, Blake Giglio, Sean O'Brien were not in the pack there. June Salim, 17th. Paul Hill was running up in the top 5, was disqualified on incident points across the line. He'll finish at 18th tonight. Evan Mesnard, Casey Graves, the rest of your top 20.
Rest of your field coming across your screen. You can see all these cars are multiple laps down, involved in accidents, all the way from 21st to 30th. And the next screen, you'll see 31st and 32nd. Our final finishers here, Pearson and Wertman as well, out of the race. 32 cars who started the race did not come across the line. Let's go ahead and bring up our winner if we can. I believe he is in the chat. Let's see if we can get a car view of Dylan Basin. Dylan Basin winning tonight's race. Congratulations, man. You got the win. Absolutely great job avoiding that wreck there at the end. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's probably the the most you can get handed a win, I guess. Like all I tried to do in the last lap was push shot as hard as I can to get us some track position, and they all just wrecked. Like I didn't even have a reaction crossing the line because I'm just like, oh, what happened? I mean, yeah, it sucks we got split apart there. It was just us 2 versus, it was like groups of teammates. So we were trying to stay together, but when you got 2 different teams behind you trying to split you up, it got pretty difficult, and we fell back. And yeah, I mean, I don't got any words for that. I didn't even do anything special. I just drove on the bottom and they wrecked. Like that's like probably the easiest win I'll ever get.
Yeah, you could probably just say it was probably one of the better wins too, because I mean, luck it was a big part of the sport, man. You got it done. You're able to be in the right spot at the right time. You got the job done, and I mean, honestly, it was really crazy. You and your teammate were just dominant all day long, able to dominate up there in the last stage, and there at the end, like you said, you got separated, but somehow, some way, you were able to take away the win. Anybody you want to shout out?
Obviously, all the guys at Ryco Performance and RFK Racing, all the sponsors on the car. We're glad to represent Build Submarines for performance. And now we've been building some rippers every week. So now 2 plate wins this season. I think that gives us the king of the super speedway points lead, whatever it is. I was only 1 point behind Roman. So yeah, one more left, Daytona, I think, and see if you can hold on to that.
Absolutely. And you also got Talladega later in the fall as well. That's something
Oh,
else to
yeah,
think about
yeah.
too. But again, thanks so much for talking with us. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, that was our first place finisher, Dylan Basin, winning this thing, and now time to talk to Lucas Hoitzma, RP2. He will be with Sky. Go ahead.
Lucas, how you doing?
I got to tell you, man, pretty disappointed. I think if my memory serves, this is my 6th second place finish of the season, so it hurts. But had a good points night, so I guess there's that.
What was going through your mind there coming to the line when you had that run?
Well, going into 3, I felt like I had a really, really good shot at the win. I had a huge run thanks to Paul. He pushed me down the back straightaway, and I got to the inside of John, and we got together a little bit. He pinched me down. I kind of washed up the racetrack. That invited the 17 in to the picture, and he just kind of went in there, doored John up the racetrack, made the hole for himself, and then we end up wrecking and coming across the line. So, you know, it's one of those things. Some guys just, they can't help it, you know. And I get it. You know, you're at a super speedway, you're in 3rd place, you kind of see a hole, you just take it. Man, it sucks to be on this end of it. It could have been worse for me, I guess. I could have finished worse than 2nd, so, you know, I'll take that. But it was an absolute blast tonight. I don't want that finish to take away. I mean, I'm sure it was exciting, but that was just some of the best racing we've ever had at Atlanta on iRacing.
Yeah, what was the difference between running with that extra 10% horsepower tonight?
It was night and day. I mean, nothing transferred from the spring. Everything changed. The top seemed to be dominant in this race once the tires kind of got hot, which was completely flipped from the spring race. And tire wear was a huge factor. You needed to take tires when you had the opportunity. That's why you saw everybody come down on that last stop. And it was a wild night. And I think everybody was kind of going in blind. There really was no way to test this with this many cars on track. So I had a blast. I'm so glad we did this. And I hope we keep doing this.
All right, who do you have to thank tonight?
Just a huge shout out to everybody at KCP, Price Chopper, Coca-Cola, and all those guys for having me on. I did them well tonight. We had the 2 Price Chopper cars up front at one point, so that was cool. Everybody who puts this league on, you guys for broadcasting, and everybody in Low Drag, and my family for watching.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, Lucas.
Thank you, guys.
And we're going to throw it over to P3, Matthew David Wood, who will be standing by with Kirk Mills.
Matthew David Wood, my man, ended up getting a podium finish this afternoon. Not quite the win you were looking for there, but across the line, chaos was happening all around you, and you end up taking 3rd. How's it feel, man?
Wow, I'm glad that's over. That's how I feel. Yeah, we had a very, very fast Outlier Chevy. We didn't build one, like I said, specifically for this race. I know it's like 10% horsepower upgrade and all that. So didn't have any teammates, and I sure felt that because, man, I felt like every time I made a move, I'd have nobody behind me. Somebody else would make a move, and they'd have 1,500 people behind them going to the front. I made some really aggressive moves that, honestly, I didn't mean to make. It just kind of happened. Went to the outside of the 26, and I think he got squeezed by Delaney, I think, and I was there. I hit the wall. I don't think I should have went for that move anyway. But yeah, the only way I was going to get to the front is how I had to be aggressive. Led a couple of laps for Outlier and slow today. But yeah, just, you know, being the only one on slow, at least for right now, at a super speedway, it's just so difficult because, again, you don't have much help out there. Bobby gave me a lot of help, and Sean and Dylan both gave me a lot of help when I could get to them. But, I mean, it felt like every man for himself at the back, unless you had teammates, and I had none. So it was tough, but pushed my way up to the front, and I think it's my 3rd podium. So I'm happy it's over, but I'm even happier I got a podium.
Well, I tell you what, I am happy for you too. It's always fun to see you up here in the top 3. Anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, of course, Robert and Johnny for all they do over at Outlier Speed Co. Fish Speed, Evan, Fisher, all those guys over there. KLR, Kevin Lifflander Racing for Rallycross. Thank God for what he's done for me. Thank him for sending Jesus Christ for us. Be like Biff, do it for Dale, and race like Rowdy. We got a podium, baby.
Heck yeah, happy for you, buddy. Thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was our third place finisher, Morgan Cook, as our producer this afternoon. I'm going to ask real quick if we could take a look at that crash just one more time. I do want to clarify something I think I just looked at. The 6th car, Jonathan Delaney, coming off turn 4 on the final lap. Let's take a look at that from high above, preferably in far chase. I hate using that camera, but it's probably going to be the best way for us to be able to see this particular crash.
That's how I watch the race. Dang.
Here we go. Let's see if we can't pull that up here. The thing is, it's way too far away for us to be able to see otherwise. So it's coming here. This is going into 3 and 4 for the final time. The 6th car. You see the 97. Oh, actually, no, this is 2 to go, it looks like. So we're coming to the white flag this time. We're going to see this from the white flag to the finish. Let's look at this live. 6th car, Delaney. He has the lead. This is no man's land. When you're leading a race, you do not want to be first place. That is the last thing you want to do. And that 6th car, Delaney, he sees 17 come into the picture, but he gets side-wrapped by the 97. 97 getting a big shot. He's going to make his move down to the bottom. And I got to clarify here. 6th car tries to go down, tried to do side draft and slow him down. Didn't work. 6th car knows that. 17's going to go 3 wide in the middle. 17's doing nothing wrong here. 6th car turns hard left into the side of the 17, causing the accident. So the 6th car, Delaney, I believe, turning down at the last minute, trying to do a desperate move, is why that wreck ended up happening. So it was absolutely nothing to do with the 17 there at the end. Final thoughts from Sky. What do you think about that?
I think that was an awesome race. I had a lot of fun. I'm very glad I was in the booth tonight. I had a lot of fun. I don't know what to tell you. That race was awesome. That was some of the best racing I've seen on iRacing in a minute.
Absolutely. It was fantastic. Maconi Entertainment brings it all the time. Kirk Mills up here in the booth. Got Sky Shrek up here. And Morgan Cook, our producer. We thank you all so much for watching tonight. We'll see you next time. Be sure to tune in.
The best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.